announced that they would meet tomorrow night, they immediately became excited. Shua, can you reveal how old the new boss is? Are they in their 70s or 80s? Yeah. Is it a greasy middle-aged man, the kind that stares? Are they generous? Will they cut our bonuses or reduce our meal allowances? Hearing the questions from the ladies, Qinyang had a black line on his forehead and wore a bitter expression. Turning around, he rushed out of the banquet hall. Zhua Hongmei secretly chuckled. Don't worry, tomorrow night, all will be revealed. Qinyang drove his vehicle towards the Bai family villa. From Bai Yuyan's tone, it seemed there was another big issue in the Bai family. Most likely, it was something that affected Bai Yuyan's personal interests. Otherwise, she wouldn't be so anxious to call him over. When he arrived at the foot of the mountain, Bai Yuyan was waiting outside the gate. She got into Qinyang's car, and he drove her through 2 checkpoints. Yan, what exactly happened? Bai Yuyan sighed deeply. Yulong called me and said that Li Yao and his father Li Chongqing have come. Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu, this mother-daughter pair, teamed up with 2 outsiders to coerce and entice my father to name Bai Yuzhu as the heir. Qinyang was taken aback. Li Yao and Li Chongqing were so deeply involved. Their intentions were not small. Bai Yuyan sneered coldly. The intentions of Sima Zhao are known to all. Only that mother-daughter pair, blinded by profit, would let the wolf into the house. Sooner or later, the Yuntian group will be completely swallowed by the Li family. Qinyang reassured her. As long as we stop Bai Yuzhu from taking the position, we can avoid the Bai family's assets from being consumed by the Li father-son duo. However, I am very curious. How did they threaten and tempt your uncle? Bai Yuyan sneered. It's the same old trick. They threatened my father, saying that if Bai Yuzhu wasn't named the heir, the Li family would cut off all business cooperation with the Bai family. If Bai Yuzhu is established as the heir to Yuntian Group today, the Li family will immediately invest 1 billion, allowing Bai Yuzhu to manage it personally. Qinyang nodded. It really is the same old tactic. Last time they forced you to marry him, and this time they're pressuring your dad to name Bai Yuzhu as the heir. He turned to look at Bai Yuyan. Sister Yan, is your Bai family in a tough spot and really short on money right now? Bai Yuyan nodded. My dad's health hasn't been good these past few years, and he lacks the energy. Many of the group's affairs are being handled by Zhang Li. The group's performance has been declining, and the financial situation is very difficult. Chongqing Group is our important partner, and if we break ties, it will only make things worse. We can't afford to lose. Moreover, although 1 billion isn't a lot, it can alleviate our immediate crisis. So this time, it's hard for my dad to refuse. Qinyang felt a headache coming on. If it were just a matter of lacking funds, he could think of a way. However, the interdependence of the group companies is not so easily replaced. Soon, under Bai Yuyan's guidance, Qinyang walked into the hall of the Bai family villa. As soon as he entered, he sensed something was off. In the reception area, Bai Yuntian, as the host, sat high in the main seat. Li Chongqing, the head of the Li family, held a prominent position, sitting in the first VIP seat. Li Yao followed closely behind. Opposite them sat Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu. Only Bai Yulong was sitting alone in a wheelchair, distanced from everyone else, looking somewhat out of place, or rather, isolated. When Bai Yuyan and Qinyang walked in and scanned the room, they surprisingly couldn't find a suitable seat. Of course, it wasn't that there were no chairs or stools. It was just that Qinyang felt it wasn't appropriate. Everyone else was comfortably lounging on the high-end sofas, while he had to sit on a small, hard chair. No matter how he looked at it, it felt strange. Especially in front of Li Yao, a defeated opponent, Qinyang didn't want to be at a disadvantage. As for Bai Yuzhu, being the younger sister, not only did she not offer her seat to her sister, but she also provocatively glanced at Bai Yuyan. The implication seemed to be that removing the sofa was her little maneuver. Zhang Li's expression was also not very pleasant. It turned out she just didn't like the sight of Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong. Now it seemed that Qinyang was even more annoying. Bai Yunfei, being perceptive, immediately noticed the issue and quickly instructed the staff to bring over 2 more sofas. Qinyang, you've come. Please sit. The soon-to-be father-in-law had a very warm attitude. Bai Yuntian was quite satisfied with Qinyang. As he passed by Bai Yulong took the initiative to speak, a bright smile on his face. Brother-in-law, you've come. Qinyang smiled and nodded, then looked at Bai Yuntian and happily took a seat. Thank you, uncle. Bai Yuntian scanned the room. Since everyone is here, I will now announce an important decision. Bai Yuyan's heart tightened. So soon? Aren't we going to discuss this? Bai Yulong seemed to have anticipated this, and a hint of sadness flashed in his eyes. On the contrary, Bai Yuzhu and Zhang Li's eyes lit up with great anticipation. Li Chongqing and his son Li Yao remained calm, as if everything was under control. Bai Yuntian observed everyone's expressions, feeling quite complicated but decisively announced the decision. Starting today, Yuzhu will officially become the heir of Yuntian Group. Tomorrow, I will hold a board meeting to announce this decision and promote her to the position of vice president of the group, transferring 20 of my shares to her name. As soon as the words were spoken, the room was in shock, especially Bai Yuyan, whose expression changed drastically. Chapter 161, Heartless and Ungrateful. Your bad deeds have been exposed. I initially thought that for such a significant matter, my father would consult everyone beforehand. I didn't expect him to announce the result directly. For Bai Yuyan, this was like a bolt from the blue. A huge disaster. She and Bai Yulong exchanged glances, both feeling the disappointment and loss from each other. In the end, their father chose Bai Yuzhu. This was not just a matter of favoritism or unfair division of assets, but a further squeeze on their living space. Just think about it. Zhongli was already the mistress of the house, managing everything in the villa, constantly targeting the siblings. Now, with Bai Yuzhu becoming the future head of the family, she was scheming against Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong. Will they still have a way to survive in the Bai family? The original share distribution of Yuntian Group was Bai Yuntian 80, Bai Yuyan 5, Bai Yulong 5, and other shareholders 10. The shares of Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong were inherited from their mother. Now, with their father directly transferring 20 to Bai Yuzhu, her shares would completely exceed the total of the siblings. In the future, whether in the Bai family or Yuntian Group, the siblings would have no say at all. Some were disheartened, while others rejoiced. Bai Yuzhu was overjoyed, saying, "Thank you, Dad. I will definitely perform well and not let you down." The next moment, her gaze towards Bai Yuyan was filled with undisguised pride and triumph. At that moment, Bai Yuzhu felt ecstatic. "Look, no matter how hard you compete, you are no match for me. This family business ultimately belongs to me. The entire Bai family is mine. In the future, when I take over power, the first thing I will do is strip you of your shares and drive you two out of the Bai family." Ha! Bai Yuyan felt desolate in her heart and had no interest in competing with her. She lowered her head and silently wept. Bai Yuntian felt pleased. His eldest daughter was devoted to medicine and his only son. Since childhood, she suffered a leg injury that left her mobility impaired, preventing her from inheriting the family business. She only has a younger daughter, who is quite promising. The daughter works in the company and is quite effective. Although she has some minor flaws, she is still young and has a lot of room for growth. It is quite promising for her to take over the company. Zhang Li smiled brightly and cast a flirtatious glance at Bai Yuntian, sharing a look that both understood as ambiguous. To be fair, at around 40 years old, she is well-maintained and looks only in her early 30s. With a stunning appearance and a captivating figure, she embodies both mature charm and alluring grace. Most ordinary men would find it hard to resist. In Li Changxing's eyes, a flicker of displeasure passed. He turned to look at Bai Yuntian, still wearing a beaming smile. "Congratulations, my young brother. You have someone to carry on the legacy," he said. "I believe that under the leadership of you and your daughter, Yuntian Group will surely thrive and become even more glorious." Bai Yuntian laughed heartily. "You flatter me, brotherly. Your Changxing Group is the pillar of Jiangqing. Compared to you, our Yuzhu still has a long way to go." Li Yao seized the opportunity to look at Bai Yuzhu. "Congratulations, Yuzhu. I wish you smooth sailing and great achievements." At that moment, in the reception area, two distinct atmospheres seemed to form. One side was full of warmth and excitement, while the other was silent and somber. "Uncle, may I ask you something?" Qinyang suddenly spoke, looking directly at Bai Yuntian. Bai Yuntian paused for a moment before smiling and saying, "You're Yuyun's boyfriend now. We'll be family. What is there to hesitate about? Go ahead." Qinyang asked curiously. "I'm curious. Why did you choose Yuzhu as the heir? She is the youngest. Logically, it should have been Yulong or Yinyan." Zhang Li immediately felt a surge of anger upon hearing this. She stood up abruptly, pointing at Qinyang and scolding. "You little brat, you need to understand your position. Right now, you are just Yuyun's boyfriend, not a member of the Bai family. Even if one day you marry her, such a family matter is not something an outsider like you can meddle in." Bai Yuyun felt angry and couldn't help but want to stand up for Qinyang, but was outpaced by Bai Yuzhu, who glared at Qinyang with fury. "You want to know why? I'll tell you. I followed my father's arrangement and worked in the company. From an intern to a department manager, I've achieved remarkable results. What has Yiyun done? She knows nothing and only cares about the scalpel. Can she manage the company?" She then pointed at Bai Yulong, her eyes filled with ridicule and disdain. "And him? A disabled person. He can't even walk. What qualifications does he have to compete with me for the position of heir? Do you think Yuntian Group would choose someone disabled to be the president or chairman? Ridiculous." Bai Yuzhu fired off her words like a machine gun. The older siblings were belittled to the point of being worthless, with no familial affection to speak of. Zhang Li felt helpless and glanced at Bai Yuntian, who indeed had a dark expression, staring at Bai Yuzhu in silence. Bai Yulong gripped the armrests of his wheelchair tightly, his veins bulging, his expression bordering on ferocious. All along, he had feared being called disabled. Today, in front of so many people, Bai Yuzhu had reopened that wound. His emotions were on the verge of spiraling out of control. Bai Yuyan hurried over, holding his hand, offering warmth and comfort to his wounded heart. Qinyang watched, feeling a deep sense of compassion. Beep. Trigger today's information. Information 4. Bai Yulong's legs were harmed by Bai Yuzhu. Qinyang was taken aback. He immediately checked the information, revealing a shocking scene from 10 years ago. Bai Yulong had been playing alone near the stairs when Bai Yuju, taking advantage of his inattention, threw a banana peel on the ground. Bai Yulong slipped and fell down the stairs from the second floor, rolling all the way to the first. He was rushed to the hospital and barely survived. However, his legs were completely ruined, and he could never stand again. Qinyang realized the truth and felt a strong aversion to Bai Yuju's cruelty and ruthlessness. He smiled coldly, locking his gaze onto Bai Yuju's eyes. You say Yinjia and Yulong have no qualifications? Then let me ask you, what qualifications do you have? You don't think your misdeeds are unknown, do you? Bai Yuju's eyes flickered, her expression shifting between various emotions. She felt an illusion that Chen Yang's gaze could see through her heart. Taking a deep breath to feign calmness, she coldly retorted, what do you mean? Explain clearly what bad things I did. Do you have evidence? I can understand your desire to help Bai Yuyan, but your slander against me is truly despicable. Chapter 162. Step by step, forcing you to reveal your true self at the scene. Everyone was confused by Chun Yang's words. He directly accused Bai Yuju of wrongdoing, yet she vehemently denied it and countered with accusations of slander against him. Qinyang was confident, his gaze fixed intensely on Bai Yuju as he slowly pressed on. I didn't expect someone so young to have such a malicious heart. Tell me, how did Yulong's legs get broken? Have you forgotten? He is your brother. You actually harmed him, causing him to fall down the stairs and nearly lose his life. This statement caused an uproar in the crowd. The injury to Bai Yulong's legs was an everlasting pain for the Bai family, especially for Bai Yuntian, who had spent countless sleepless nights smoking and sighing in despair. He had only this one son, who was supposed to inherit the vast family business of Yuntian Group. Now that his legs were broken, how could he manage the company and revitalize the family? Suddenly, there was news. The son's injury was caused by the younger daughter. This shocking news was almost unbelievable. He looked at his son's leg, then at his younger daughter's somewhat innocent face. Could this really be true? Bai Yuyan was equally shocked. She looked down at Bai Yulong, her tone very agitated. Little brother, back then you fell down the stairs. Was it an accident, or was it someone's malicious intent? Bai Yulong stood there in a daze, not saying a word, seemingly lost in distant memories. Zhang Li was frightened and panicked. If this were true, the status of her daughter as the heir would probably be in jeopardy. Her eyes blazed with anger as she shouted at Qinyang. You, don't slander us. How could my daughter harm anyone? Bai Yuju's eyes were extremely flustered. In front of everyone, she tried hard to disguise her feelings and shouted, you're talking nonsense. It wasn't me. He fell down by himself. It has nothing to do with me. She suddenly pointed at Bai Yulong. If you don't believe me, ask him if he saw me harm him. Everyone's gaze focused on Bai Yulong. After recalling for a long time, he ultimately shook his head. I didn't see anyone plotting against me. I don't think my sister would harm me, right? Bai Yuju jumped up excitedly. You see, I told you I didn't harm anyone. He himself said he didn't see anything. Why are you accusing me? The last sentence was directed at Qinyang. Shouted fiercely. She looked aggressive, as if Qinyang didn't give her an explanation, she would immediately pounce and scratch him. Li Yao immediately jumped out to defend her. Qinyang, clarify why you are framing Yuju? Are you deliberately causing trouble? Do you want to seize the inheritance rights of the Bai family or obstruct the cooperation between the Li and Bai families? After saying that, he turned to Bai Yuntian. Uncle Bai, this guy Qinyang comes from a low background and has a despicable character. His intentions are sinister. You must be vigilant and not be deceived by him. Bai Yuntian's face also showed displeasure. Bai Yuju had always been clever and lovable. How could she do something so heartless as to harm her own brother? What kind of madness would that be? Now, with Bai Yulong clarifying that no one harmed him, it indicated that Qinyang was stirring up trouble and fabricating stories, deliberately slandering Bai Yuju. His purpose was nothing more than to help Bai Yuyan fight for the inheritance rights. The ultimate goal was still for himself. Did he already intend to use Bai Yuyan to seize the Bai family's wealth? At this moment, Zhang Li would not let such a good opportunity for attack slip away. Qinyang, you must clarify why you are framing my daughter. Otherwise, get out of the Bai family and never step foot in this door again. If you dare to slander my daughter, I will make sure you pay. The chain of attacks from several people instantly cornered Qinyang, leaving him with almost no power to fight back. Even Bai Yuyan was puzzled. Why did Qinyang say that? Even his younger brother said he didn't see anything. So, there must be no conspiracy, it was just an accident. Knowing that the lie would be exposed soon, why did Qinyang still create this narrative? Was it just to help her? The initial intention was good, and the courage is commendable, but the approach was inappropriate. The situation is so unfavorable, yet Qinyang remains completely calm and composed, smiling faintly at everyone. His sharp gaze is fixed on Bai Yuju's eyes. Although a long time has passed since this incident, if one wishes to investigate, there are still ways to do so. Do you remember? After Yulong broke his leg, the family lost a nanny, Lu Jia. As soon as this was mentioned, Bai Yuju's face finally couldn't hold up and turned pale instantly, fear flashing in her eyes. Liao noticed this subtle change and felt something was wrong. Could it be that Bai Yuzhu was really so ruthless, daring to harm her own brother at such a young age? He always prided himself on being ruthless. But he couldn't guarantee that he could do something so bold a decade ago. Zhang Li also sensed something was off and immediately retorted, "What does this have to do with Yulong's fall?" Lu Jia left the Bai family because of personal matters. She requested to return to her hometown. Everyone in the Bai family knows this well. "Qinyang, don't stir up trouble here." Bai Yuntian had already dismissed his doubts, but unexpectedly. Qinyang remained confident while Bai Yuzhu became flustered, clearly feeling guilty. This made him pay more attention, sitting silently and observing, wanting to see what the final outcome would be. Was Bai Yuzhu insane enough to harm her own brother, or was Qinyang scheming and deliberately stirring up trouble? Regarding Zhang Li's defense, Qinyang sneered. Lu Jia left the Bai family not because of family matters, but because she saw something she shouldn't have. That day, Yulong was playing near the stairs, and Bai Yuzhu was hiding behind him. Taking advantage of Yulong's inattention, she secretly threw a banana peel under his feet. As a result, Yulong slipped and still doesn't know that someone intended to harm him. He thinks it was just an accident. Qinyang paused and scanned the crowd. "How do I know this so clearly?" "Because I found Lu Jia. She told me that she was terrified when she saw this scene and screamed, which alerted Bai Yuzhu. So, Bai Yuzhu privately threatened her to leave the Bai family, or she would suffer dire consequences." Qinyang suddenly pointed at Bai Yuzhu, his tone severe. "Bai Yuzhu, am I wrong in what I said?" Bai Yuzhu trembled in fear, panic evident in her eyes. "No, I didn't. I didn't harm anyone, and I didn't threaten Lu Jia. I was so young back then. How could I have harmed anyone?" Qinyang shook his head. "Denying it is useless. You don't know. At that time, Sister Lu not only saw it, but also took photos." Bai Yuzhu found it even harder to believe, shaking her head like a rattle drum. "Impossible. How could there be photos?" In an instant, Bai Yuzhu realized she seemed to have let something slip and quickly changed her words. "I didn't harm him. Sister Lu couldn't have seen anything. Even more so, there couldn't be any so-called photos." Qinyang smiled coldly, fully controlling the pace of the conversation. Bai Yuzhu was stepping down the path he had set for her. "Why is it impossible?" Qinyang continued to apply psychological pressure. The reason Sister Lu had not mentioned the photos was to protect herself, to prevent being silenced by you. "It's pitiful that she served your Bai family for over a decade and was ultimately forced to leave. She couldn't find work and has been living very difficultly back home." Hearing this, Bai Yuntian couldn't help but interject. "That's impossible, right? I remember when Sister Lu left, we gave her a sum of money. It should be enough for her to get by. How could she be living so poorly? The Bai family has always treated people generously. Sister Lu served the Bai family for many years, and everyone was reluctant to see her go, especially giving her 500,000 to Bai Yuntian." Qinyang maintained his respect and did not respond coldly, but pointed back at Bai Yuzhu. This question should be directed to Bai Yuzhu. Why did the young lady of the Bai family want to take back Sister Lu's 500,000? Is it because she wanted that money? That seems unlikely. Then there must be only one reason. That is, she resented her for seeing something she shouldn't have. Bai Yuzhu was at a loss. Qinyang's attack was too sudden and sharp. She had no psychological preparation at all. This was her biggest secret hidden in her heart, suddenly exposed. Anyone would be dumbfounded. Bai Yuntian's expression was very ugly as he stared at Bai Yuzhu and coldly asked, "Why did you want to take back Sister Lu's 500,000? Bai Yuzhu shivered. She couldn't say a word. Her first reaction was to deny the matter. However, thinking back, many people had witnessed this, including the nanny, maid, and security guards. They all saw her intercept Sister Lu's 500,000. At that time, she hadn't thought deeply about it. But now, it was indeed an oversight. Since Qinyang could dig up Sister Lu's story, he could naturally find others. If she denied it, and Qinyang pulled her out to slap her face, that would be too foolish. So, she could only respond with silence. Zhang Li, seeing her daughter in trouble, naturally wouldn't stand by idly. She feigned nonchalance and argued. What's there to ask? How old was Yuzhu back then? Just a child, playing around all day? How could she know anything? It's normal for a child to occasionally do something unreasonable, right? Qinyang smiled coldly. He shouted angrily, is she a child? What does she know? Let me tell you. She knows that Yulong is her uncle's treasure and her biggest threat. She knows that to eliminate her competitors, she must harm her own family. She also knows. Before Qinyang could continue, Zhang Li suddenly went mad and screamed loudly, enough! Qinyang, what do you want? Do you have any conscience or sense of right and wrong? How could you maliciously accuse a girl who is not yet 20 and harm her own brother? Are you even human? Her words were extremely vicious, instantly labeling Qinyang as morally deficient. She tried to salvage her daughter's reputation by smearing Qinyang. Li Yao seized the opportunity to jump in, taking a jab at Qinyang. Exactly. I think he has a dark mind. He is such a person himself. So he assumes others are the same. Our sister Yuzhu is smart, lovely, and pure. How could she possibly plot against her own brother? A person with such malicious intent is not worthy of Miss Yu Yan. Initially, under Chen Yang's relentless pressure, Bai Yuzhu was on the verge of collapse and could confess at any moment. Now, with the interference of the two, the situation became murky again, leaving everyone a bit confused. What exactly is going on now? Chen Yang remained calm, looking at Zhang Li and then at Li Yao. Finally, his gaze locked onto Bai Yuzhu as he sneered. I know exactly what you all are thinking, but it's useless. He raised his phone and shook it. Do you know what's on my phone? Photos. Yes, photos taken by Sister Lu. The images are very clear. The panic when Yu Long stepped on the banana peel, and Bai Yuzhu's smugness hiding behind him, are all seen clearly and unmistakably. Bai Yuzhu's scalp tingled. Her eyes were fixed on Chen Yang's phone, murmuring, impossible. How could there be photos? She was certain that when she discovered Sister Lu, she had threatened her and immediately searched her, finding no phone or camera. Later, she had specifically questioned whether any photos were taken. And Sister Lu's answer was very definite. No photos were taken. Logically, she had neither the time nor the opportunity to take photos. Bai Yuzhu guessed that Chen Yang must be bluffing, trying to trick her. Yes, it must be that way. There were definitely no photos taken. His phone, of course. Couldn't he possibly have any pictures? Bai Yuyan was very anxious. She desperately wanted to know whether her brother's injury was an accident or intentional. If it was an accident, they could only consider themselves unlucky. If it was intentional, they could never let it go. Her brother originally had a bright future, but because of that fall, everything was ruined. He could only sit in a wheelchair every day, feeling depressed. He was no longer the sunny, confident, and cheerful boy he once was. A tragic life was destined for him. Can you show me the photo? Bai Yuyan asked softly. Chen Yang readily agreed. Of course. He immediately unlocked the screen and started searching for the photos. Bai Yuyan was very excited, leaning in closer, her shoulder brushing against his as they looked at the pictures together. All eyes were fixed on them. Bai Yuzhu looked skeptical and confused. Zhang Li was tense. Li Yao was curious. Bai Yuntian's mood was the most complicated. It was unclear what kind of outcome he hoped for. Li Changsheng had the strangest expression, surprisingly showing a hint of inexplicable tension. 3 seconds later, an expression of immense surprise appeared on Bai Yuyan's face. Ah! She couldn't contain her shock and exclaimed, turning to look at Chen Yang, seemingly asking if it was real. Chen Yang nodded. Bai Yuyan was left speechless. In fact, the image she saw was not a photo of Bai Yuzhu harming someone, but a selfie. More specifically, it was a half-naked photo of Chen Yang after a shower. Standing in front of the mirror, he was only wearing a pair of shorts, showcasing his robust chest and 8-pack abs in full view. Seeing this suddenly left Bai Yuyan shocked. She nearly jumped up in surprise. Chapter 164, Oscar-worthy performance. The perfect deception by Yuyan, wanting to see the photo, immediately attracted everyone's attention. This was crucial evidence. Unexpectedly, the anticipated photo did not appear. Instead, it was a half-naked photo of a muscular man. How shocking was that? In public, having a beautiful woman look at such a photo, especially of a man she liked. With all that strength, those lines, and that intense male hormone, it made her heart race and left her flustered. She could barely hold it together. At this moment, under everyone's watchful gaze, as long as Bai Yuyan showed even the slightest flaw, the scheme would be exposed, and Chen Yang's plan would fail. In a critical moment, Chen Yang made his move. You better stay calm and say nothing. Pretend that what you saw is the photo you wanted to see. Chen Yang's lips didn't move, but his voice magically reached Bai Yuyan's ears, and she was the only one who could hear it. This was Chen Yang's secret skill. As a surgical expert and associate chief physician, Bai Yuyan's psychological quality was indeed impressive. In 1 second, she adjusted her emotions, pretended to have seen that photo, and suddenly turned around, glaring fiercely at Bai Yuzhu. How could you be so cruel? That is your own brother. Her voice was choked and hoarse, filled with anger, confusion, and resentment. At that moment, Bai Yuyan's acting skills were at their peak. Chen Yang couldn't help but want to applaud. She was even more talented than the famous actress Su Yulan. It would be a shame if she didn't pursue acting. Bai Yuyan felt a wave of panic in her heart. It wasn't fear of failing the performance, but rather a genuine insecurity. Chen Yang indeed did not have that crucial photo in his possession. If they were exposed, wouldn't it turn into a farce? Fortunately, Bai Yuyan and Chen Yang worked together seamlessly. Bai Yuzhu, who was originally very confident, suddenly felt a bit flustered. Could it be that Sister Lu really took a photo and left behind evidence? Bai Yuzhu knew her elder sister very well. At that moment, the shock on Bai Yuyan's face upon seeing the photo could not have been fake. But how could Bai Yuzhu possibly concede defeat? How could she admit to something without seeing the photo? Absolutely not. You're talking nonsense. There can't possibly be any photos. Do you dare to show me the photo? Bai Yuzhu insisted, trying to hold her ground. Until the last moment. She wouldn't give up. Suddenly, a greater challenge arose. Before Chen Yang could speak, Bai Yuyan nervously clenched her fists, staring intently at Chen Yang. She wanted him to refuse, but didn't know how to voice it. No one knew better than her what was on Chen Yang's phone. Could he really let Bai Yuzhu see that? Chen Yang, however, was completely unfazed, maintaining a confident and calm demeanor. He directly handed over his phone. Sure, take a look. Hearing is one thing, seeing is believing. Let us see how you deny it in the face of the facts. In an instant, Bai Yuyan's heart raced, nearly jumping out of her throat. Her palms were sweating with tension. She wanted to snatch the phone away before Bai Yuju could see it. Yet, in front of so many people, she dared not act recklessly. If she really took it away, things would become complicated, akin to trying to hide something that was already exposed. Qin Yang's lie would be instantly debunked. On the other side, as the person involved, Bai Yuju was even more anxious and flustered. Qin Yang being so generous and open meant what? It indicated that he was fully confident, with irrefutable evidence. It was over. Bai Yuju's hands began to tremble, her movements becoming less smooth. Of course, even if she were more agile, it would be futile. What kind of person was Qin Yang? Everything was under his control. Without his permission, there was no way Bai Yuju could get her hands on the phone. Sure enough, just as Bai Yuju was about to reach for the phone, he withdrew it. Bai Yuju was furious. She felt a deep sense of disappointment and humiliation. What do you mean? You said you would show me. Why did you take it back? She demanded. Are you feeling guilty? Afraid I'll expose your lies? It had to be said. The young girl was spot on with her guesses, and her words were quite sharp. Unfortunately, Qin Yang was no easy target. Or rather, this was part of his planned strategy. Since he didn't have the photo, how could he really let her see it? I've changed my mind, so what? Such important evidence has been handed to you, a suspect. How can I be at ease? If you delete it or damage your phone, where can I go to seek justice? Can you honestly say that you didn't have such thoughts just now? Qin Yang's deduction is reasonable and makes everyone realize the truth. Indeed, this photo cannot be shown to Bai Yuju. Bai Yuju is extremely frustrated. How did he know about my plan? What a pity. I was so close to success. If only I could pretend it was an accident and destroy the phone. All those useless photos would be erased, and everything would be settled. At this moment, Liao had a brainwave and stood up. Since Yuju can't see it, why not let me have a look? Someone needs to verify that this photo actually exists. It can't just be the two of you saying whatever you want. He walked up to Qin Yang and stretched out his right hand, directly asking for it. However, he had already made up his mind. Once the phone is in his hands, with his skills, he could easily crush the circuit board and electronic components with just a bit of force. By then, what photo could a broken phone reveal? Regardless of whether Yuju is innocent or not, she would be cleared. Unfortunately, how could Qin Yang not see through Li Yao's little scheme? To put it bluntly, as soon as he made a move, Qin Yang could guess that there was nothing good about it. Qin Yang sneered and directly took back the phone. You're not capable. You and Bai Yuju are cut from the same cloth. You can do the same thing she can, perhaps even worse. I can't let you see it. Li Yao was so angry that he almost spat blood. He wanted to curse, but realized the situation wasn't right. So he suppressed his anger, glared at Qin Yang, and returned to his seat, sighing inwardly. Yuju, I can only help you this much. At that moment, Bai Yuntian finally couldn't sit still. He couldn't help but speak up. Qin Yang, can I see the photo? Qin Yang was taken aback for a moment, then smiled brightly. Of course, there's no problem. You are Yuju's father, and also the father of Yulong. I believe you will judge fairly, right? Bai Yuntian nodded solemnly. Of course. As a father, I don't want Yulong to be harmed in the dark, nor do I want Yuju to be wrongfully accused. If I look at the evidence, you all have no objections, right? His gaze swept across everyone's faces. No one at the scene voiced any dissent. Only Bai Yuyan appeared even more nervous. Just now, when Yuju wanted to see it, Qin Yang had tricked her. Now that her father wanted to see it, she couldn't pull any tricks. Once her father sees the truth, what will he think? Bai Yuntian nodded in satisfaction and looked at Qin Yang. Now, show me the photo. Chapter 165, Irrefutable Evidence. What more do you have to say? All right, I'll get it for you right now. Qin Yang walked step by step towards Bai Yuntian. The phone screen was already unlocked, and he slid his finger across it. Searching for that crucial photo, the people at the scene became tense. This moment is critical. Once the confirmation comes through, the actions of Bai Yuju against her brother will also be substantiated, regardless of whether the police will be involved. Her standing in Bai Yuntian's heart will vanish. At that time, the rights to the inheritance she obtained, the 20 shares in the group, and the position of vice president at Yuntian Group will all disappear. She might even be expelled from Yuntian Group. This outcome is something Bai Yuju cannot bear. Zhang Li is unwilling to accept it, and Li Yao and Li Changxing cannot accept it either. Conversely, if there is no photo and Bai Yuntian discovers this, not only will Bai Yulong's grievances remain unresolved, but Bai Yuju will also escape the punishment she deserves. Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong's situation in the Bai family will be precarious. Qin Yang will also provoke Bai Yuntian's anger. At that time, if Zhang Li and others join forces, it is very likely that Qin Yang will be labeled as an unwelcome person by the Bai family. The pretense of being a boyfriend will also be unsustainable. Li Yao will not miss such an opportunity, and Bai Yuyan will again fall into his clutches. This moment is the key point that determines victory or defeat. Everyone's eyes are wide open, afraid of missing anything. Qin Yang's steps remain relaxed as he walks towards Bai Yuntian, staring directly into his eyes. Bai Yuntian, surprised, suddenly hears a strange voice near his ear. Uncle, do you want to know the truth? In an instant, Bai Yuntian recognizes this as Chun Yang's voice. However, he clearly sees that Chun Yang's mouth isn't moving. In his moment of distraction, Chun Yang's voice comes again. Uncle, you know I am a martial artist. This is my secret technique, so you need not be overly surprised. What I want to tell you is, if you wish to know the truth, cooperate with me and act as if you've seen that photo. Let us test Bai Yuju's reaction. Bai Yuntian instantly understands. The photo that Bai Yuyin saw earlier was likely also fake. The reason it wasn't exposed was probably because this kid had tricked her. The two of them collaborated to deceive everyone. His gaze suddenly sharpens with a hint of anger. Uncle, don't you want to know how Yulong's leg was injured? This statement calms Bai Yuntian down. Moreover, we are merely testing. This is not slander or framing. If Bai Yuju is truly innocent, she will not admit to it herself. In that case, I am willing to accept any punishment from you. Hearing Qin Yang say this, Bai Yuntian weighs his options, unsure of what to do. At this moment, Qin Yang has already approached Bai Yuntian and flipped his phone to a specific interface. Bai Yuntian, with a serious demeanor, tilts his head to observe closely. Upon seeing it, he is directly astonished. Suddenly turning his head, he looked at Qin Yang. Is this true? Qin Yang nodded in affirmation. Absolutely true. After about a minute, Bai Yuntian waved his hand, asking Qin Yang to put away his phone. He then closed his eyes and fell into deep thought. The atmosphere on site was extremely tense. Bai Yulong anxiously awaited his father's announcement of the results. Since breaking his leg, his life had changed dramatically. The entire sky was shrouded in gloom, and laughter had vanished. All that accompanied him was loneliness, isolation, and a wheelchair. He wanted to know more than anyone else whether his injury was an accident or if Yuju had intended it. At that moment, Bai Yuntian had already seen the photo. Bai Yuyin was no longer nervous. Instead, she felt unease and fear piling up in her heart. This guy, Qin Yang, is simply outrageous. He just brazenly showed that photo. Oh my, that half-naked photo of a muscular man, to my father? What was going on in his head? Bai Yuyin was on the verge of breaking down. She wondered how furious her father would be. Would he grab a broom and directly kick Qin Yang out? Bai Yuju was also terrified and felt she might not hold on much longer. Judging by her father's expression, it was highly likely that Qin Yang's photo was indeed real. What kind of outcome awaited her? She dared not imagine. The remaining onlookers, including Zhang Li, Li Yao, and Li Changsheng, all held their breath. The situation was extremely unfavorable for them. Qin Yang indeed had evidence of Bai Yuju's wrongdoing, just waiting for Bai Yuntian to confirm it personally. In fact, the photo Bai Yuntian had just seen was neither the crime scene photo imagined by Bai Yuju and others, nor the half-naked photo that Bai Yuyin thought it was. Instead, it was a photo of the transfer contract for the Moon Bay Grand Hotel. The contract clearly stated that the current owner of the hotel was Qin Yang. This was the reason for Bai Yuntian's astonishment. Initially, Bai Yuntian thought Qin Yang was just a worker, a poor rural kid with some skills and decent looks, but otherwise quite ordinary, far from being comparable to his precious daughter. The only reason he acknowledged their relationship was due to the previous competition where Qin Yang had defeated Li Yao. Deep down, Bai Yuntian did not have high hopes or sincere recognition of Qin Yang. However, things were different now. Qin Yang was young, not only skilled but also possessed a fortune exceeding 1 billion. This ability and potential were truly exceptional among the younger generation, prompting Bai Yuntian to regard him with newfound respect. With his eyes closed, he contemplated the gains and losses, weighing the pros and cons. At first, Qin Yang's words held little weight in his heart, but now it was vastly different. Qin Yang had become his designated son-in-law, a true member of the family. His advice certainly deserved attention. Upon reflection, it does make sense. Suddenly, Bai Yuntian opened his eyes. The expression on his face was imposing without being angry. He glared fiercely at his youngest daughter, Bai Yuju. Bang! He slammed the table, startling everyone and making their hearts tremble. Yuju, you have disappointed me greatly. Just now, Qin Yang showed me the photos, and I was shocked. I never imagined that my daughter could be such a ruthless person. Bai Yuju was completely terrified. She slumped on the sofa, motionless, not saying a word. Zhang Li, feeling anxious, mustered her courage and stammered a question. Brother Tian, you must be mistaken, right? How could Yuju possibly do something so cruel? Bai Yuntian was furious. Bang! He slammed the table again. Clang! The teacup on the table was knocked over, spilling tea everywhere. How could I be wrong? The photos are crystal clear. I'm not old and feeble. I can't make a mistake. Zhang Li was so scared that she didn't dare to speak again. Bai Yuntian pointed at Bai Yuju and shouted angrily. Yuju, the evidence is overwhelming. What else do you have to say? Chapter 166, a stunning turnaround, an unusual mother-daughter duo, unique thinking. The atmosphere on site was tense to the extreme. Bai Yuntian, as the head of the Bai family and the founder of the Yuntian group, had an imposing presence. His roar stunned everyone into silence. The staff on site were all as quiet as mice, holding their breath and not daring to make a sound. Bai Yuju was frightened, her expression vacant, her eyes devoid of focus. She was on the brink of mental collapse, mumbling to herself. It's impossible. I clearly searched her. I interrogated her for so long. And she said there were no photos. How could there be photos now? No way. To eliminate any risks, I even specifically forced Sister Lu away. After such a long time, and from such a distance, how could it be exposed? Bai Yuju sank into deep self-doubt. It was evident that her mental state was troubled. Though her mutterings were soft, the scene was so quiet that everyone heard her words clearly. It was obvious that Chun Yang's accusations were entirely true. Bai Yuju had admitted in her own words that she indeed committed these wrongdoings. Bai Yulong's eyes were bloodshot, filled with resentment, sorrow, and despair that words could not describe. He never imagined that the culprit behind his downfall would be his half-sister. All along, he had been protective and accommodating towards Bai Yuju. In their childhood, whether it was their father or sister bringing home treats or toys, he would always give them to his sister. Even later, after he was injured and his leg was disabled, when his sister occasionally bullied or mocked him, he always forgave her with a loving and tender heart, never holding a grudge. At this moment, knowing the truth, the impact of the thoughts is immense, and the emotional turmoil is deeply misplaced. Bai Yuyan feels her worldview being completely overturned. She never imagined that her brother's leg injury was actually caused by someone. Even more infuriating is that the perpetrator turns out to be her half-sister. The siblings have always believed that they treated their youngest sister well, despite not sharing the same mother. After all, she is still their father's child. Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong genuinely considered her their own sister, regardless of their stepmother's favoritism and unfair treatment. However, as they grew older, Bai Yuju became increasingly aggressive, intentionally or unintentionally hurting Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong. Yet, Bai Yuyan never truly blamed her. Who would blame their own oblivious younger sibling? Today, the truth revealed by Chun Yang is incredibly cruel, completely shattering this familial bond. She feels immense pain for her brother. She turns abruptly to her father, Bai Yuntian. Dad, you must stand up for Yulong, she exclaims, her voice hoarse and filled with tears. Bai Yuntian is stunned, even though he decided to cooperate with Chun Yang in this act. He cannot believe that his beloved youngest daughter could be that kind of person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have placed so much hope in Bai Yuju, even excluding Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong, and entrusting the future of Yuntian Group to her. Now, the stark contrast fills him with sadness and disappointment. Like a flood that has burst its banks, overwhelming him and turning his world upside down. He feels as if he is losing his mind. Just imagine. What father could bear to see one child scheming to cripple another, nearly costing their life? Both are his dearly loved children. As a father, he feels double the pain and a double blow. Li Yao watches coldly, carefully observing Bai Yuju, his heart already in turmoil, waves crashing against the shore. My goodness. This is incredible. How old was she back then? She dared to do such a thing. What kind of audacity and ruthlessness does she possess? Thinking about it, he realizes he might not even be able to do that. Li Chongsheng sits on the sofa, appearing calm on the surface but feeling shaken inside. He takes a deep look at Bai Yuju, a flicker of surprise and contemplation crossing his eyes. Who does this girl resemble? As the situation unfolds to this extent, Zhang Li is completely panicked. She never expected that everything was going so smoothly. Bai Yuntian had publicly announced that Yuju would become the vice president of Yuntian Group and the next chairman, transferring 20 of the shares to her. Unexpectedly, Chen Yang's accusations have spun a conspiracy theory. Even more unbelievable is that Yuju actually admitted it publicly. Could it be that the cooked duck is about to fly away? After 20 years of planning, it seems that success is just within reach. Is it going to end in failure? I refuse to accept it. Over these 20 years, I have endured humiliation and worked tirelessly for the Bai family. As a stepmother, I raised the children and took care of the household, working like a dog. At the company, I labored day and night, pouring my heart and soul into it. Finally, I have taken control of the company. How can I lose everything in an instant? No, it's impossible. Bai Yuju suddenly shouted and became hysterical. She jumped up high, acting neurotic, and rushed in front of Chun Yang, questioning him fiercely. That incident happened so many years ago that I almost forgot about it myself. Tell me quickly, how did you find out? At this moment, there was not a trace of innocence left in Bai Yuju. Her fierce gaze and grim face clearly showed that she was like a madwoman. The people on the scene were caught off guard and instinctively stepped back a few paces. Who would dare to guarantee that she wouldn't attack anyone? Only Chen Yang remained calm, wiping away the saliva sprayed by Bai Yuju and revealing an unexpectedly smiling face. You're right. So many years have passed, and indeed, it's hard for me to investigate or find any evidence. It's even more impossible for me to possess that photograph. Everything is just my deduction. The so-called photograph is also something I made up. That's right. I was just tricking you. As soon as these words came out, the crowd erupted in an uproar. Everyone became agitated. What the hell? Li Yao was shocked. He had long suspected that Qin Yang was not a good person, but he never expected him to be even more cunning. Such a devious tactic. He actually thought of it. Damn, this kid is truly heartless and deserves a beating. The one who reacted the most on the scene was Bai Yuju. At first, she couldn't believe her ears. What did you say? You tricked me? Damn, I already admitted it. You say you have no evidence, that everything is made up? Just pure trickery? Damn, you dare to play me? Do you believe that I will kill you? In the blink of an eye, recalling Chun Yang's terrifying combat ability, Bai Yuju felt a bit deflated. If it really comes to that, I'll just bite you to death. I won't live anymore. I'll take you down with me. In an instant, Bai Yuju's mind went blank. The only thought was to fight Qin Yang to the death. At least she wanted to bite off a piece of him. Zhang Li was indeed a cunning old fox. Amid her anger, her thoughts were exceptionally clear. Qin Yang, what nonsense are you talking? Without evidence, you wrongfully accuse our Yuju. What are your true intentions? She turned to Bai Tian. Brother Tian, look. I told you long ago that Yuju is not that kind of person. How could she possibly harm her own brother? Now, scared by Qin Yang, she is talking nonsense, thinking she really did such a thing in her childhood. Don't underestimate her age. Even we adults have been misled by Qin Yang. We believed his nonsense. Bai Tian remained silent. Bai Yuju, however, seemed to come alive all of a sudden. That's right. I was indeed misled by Qin Yang. I almost thought I really did such things when I was young. Honestly, I can't remember much from my childhood. I only recall Qin Yang analyzing things so convincingly that I unknowingly fell into his trap. Chapter 167. The dust settles. Crisis warning at this moment. Not only were the people present dumbfounded, but even the usually confident Qin Yang was shaken. What? It can be like this? All along. He had only heard of turning things around effortlessly, but today he truly witnessed it. Something that seemed to have been concluded could still be turned upside down by this mother-daughter duo, twisting the facts. They made the dead seem alive and the living seem dead. Incredible. In this world, I rely on strategy while you rely on sheer audacity. Truly remarkable. Bai Yuyin was so infuriated by their behavior that she nearly spat blood. The towering peaks shook violently. She was at the peak of her anger, and she immediately aimed her verbal cannon. The first shot was directed at Zhang Li. Do you have no shame? You've already admitted it, in the next moment. You dare to reverse right and wrong, calling a deer a horse? Then she turned her sights on Bai Yuju. My dear sister, don't you think it's too late to change your story now? Everyone knows the truth. Whether you admit it or not, it doesn't change the ironclad facts. She took a deep breath, tears silently streaming down her cheeks. I just want to ask you one thing. Why are you so heartless? Especially to Yulong, who has cared for and spoiled you since childhood. Has your conscience been eaten by dogs? How can you be so cruel? How could you do this? Bai Yuju was taken aback by the question. For a moment, she was at a loss for how to respond and could only remain silent to buy time. Bai Yulong was stunned. Bai Yuju's attempts at justification left him utterly speechless. The facts of the past were right in front of them. Not only did she show no remorse, but even now she wanted to deny everything. Is this really the Bai Yuju I know? At this moment, everyone could see clearly. No one was fooled. Zhang Li was just stirring the waters, trying to whitewash Bai Yuju. In this situation, Bai Yuntian's attitude became crucial. If he was determined to hold Bai Yuju accountable, he would naturally handle it fairly and decisively. If he wanted to protect her, he could easily find an excuse. Without evidence, one cannot draw conclusions. Thus, everyone's gaze was fixed on Bai Yuntian's face, waiting to see how he would react. Bang! The desk was once again struck hard. Bai Yuntian, furious, pointed at Bai Yuju. How could I have raised such a monster? Bai Yuju, speak up. Why did you harm your brother? Was this your own idea, or were you incited by someone else? Everyone instinctively stole a glance at Zhang Li, who, frightened, hurriedly shook her head, her eyes fixed on Bai Yuju, waiting to see how she would respond. Bai Yuju glared back at her father, her expression very complex. Just moments ago, her father had a chance to save himself. With just one word, he could have brushed it aside. But he didn't. Instead, he harshly criticized her and pressed her for answers. This was a betrayal of his own child. Suddenly, a tremendous wave of resentment erupted. Bai Yuju yelled hoarsely, Dad. You asked me why? I want to ask you. Why have you only cared about my brother all these years? Even after he became useless. Your concern for him hasn't diminished at all. Is it just because he is a boy and I am a girl? Why does my mother, who is clearly the mistress of the house, have to constantly look to you and give the best things to my brother? Why can't I have the best? Why can't I inherit the family business? Bai Yuntian was momentarily stunned. He opened his mouth to say something, but was cut off by Bai Yuju. Because you are an old-fashioned, stubborn man. You value sons over daughters. You always think that only sons can carry on the family line and inherit the business. I refuse to accept that. Bai Yuzhu spoke passionately, driving Bai Yuntian to the point of rolling his eyes back in anger, almost fainting. Bai Yueying rushed over to support him, gently patting his back until he finally calmed down. Dad, are you okay? Bai Yueying asked anxiously. Bai Yuntian waved his hand to indicate he was fine. His gaze sharpened as he glanced at Zhang Li, finally settling on Bai Yuzhu's face. I announced the revocation of Bai Yuzhu's status as the heir. His voice was unusually cold, carrying a chilling authority. The decision to withdraw the share transfer is made. From today, Bai Yuzhu will exit the management of Yuntian Group. As the decision was announced, the faces of Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu instantly turned pale, collapsing to the ground. It was over. Everything was over. After all these years of fighting, it was all for nothing. Li Changxing finally lost his composure. He stood up and walked in front of Bai Yuntian, his expression grave. Brother Bai, is this decision really appropriate? Shouldn't you reconsider? Think about our two families' cooperation. Without Yuzhu bridging the gap, not to mention a billion investment, even our previous projects might be affected. Bai Yuntian's pupils contracted, sensing a strong undercurrent of threat. But as a seasoned business mogul, could he be intimidated? Of course not. He let out a cold laugh. The sharp question came. Mr. Li, do you think I can trust such an heir? When I grow old and can't move, will it be a miserable situation? Will she harm all her siblings? Can you guarantee that? Li Changxing was left speechless. He even unconsciously glanced at Li Yao, because what Bai Yuntian asked was also what he worried about. Li Yao looked frustrated. What are you looking at me for? Does this have anything to do with me? The situation took a sudden turn. Zhang Li wiped her tears and stood up from the ground, straightening her dress, and looked directly into Bai Yuntian's eyes. Brother Tian, do you really have no regard for feelings at all? Is there no room for reversal in this matter? Originally, Bai Yuntian was already feeling very sad. After being pressed multiple times, he finally couldn't hold back and shouted in response. I will never hand the company over to someone who is inhumane and harms their own family. As soon as he said this, Zhang Li felt lost. Years of planning had come to nothing. After being prosperous for so many years, it ultimately turned out to be in vain. Bai Yuzhu went completely crazy. She erupted on the spot, baring her teeth and rushing towards Qin Yang. It's all your fault. I'll fight you. Qin Yang, agile as ever. Naturally Wu Ti let her touch him. He easily dodged to the side, causing Bai Yuzhu to fall flat on her face. She got up and continued to chase after him. For a moment, the house was in chaos. Bai Yuntian was furious. Someone, take the third miss into custody. Four burly men rushed over and directly restrained Bai Yuzhu. Then, Bai Yuntian announced the formal establishment of Bai Yuyin as the heir, transferring 20 of the shares to her name. Bai Yuyin wanted to refuse, but was stopped by Bai Yuntian. He glanced at Bai Yulong, who was in a wheelchair. Feeling sad, Yuyin, you must take good care of your brother. Bai Yuyin nodded. Dad, don't worry, I will. Seeing this outcome, Li Changxing was extremely angry. Brother Bai, take care of yourself, he said, stretching out his hand to drag the furious and unwilling Li Yao out. Zhang Li watched with longing, opened her mouth to say something, but held back. As they reached the door, Li Yao suddenly turned around, looking meaningfully at Bai Yuyin. Don't worry, I will come back. You won't have to wait too long. Bai Yuyin felt a chill run down her spine from his gaze, unable to resist shivering. Chapter 168. Young brother, save me. Bai Yuzhu had completely failed. Li Changsheng and his son left in disgrace. As they were leaving, Li Yao still harbored ill intentions towards Bai Yuyin. That glance was truly sinister. Instinctively, Bai Yuyin moved closer to Qin Yang. Qin Yang gently comforted her. Sister Yin, don't be afraid. If he dares to disturb you again, I'll take care of him immediately. The matters of the Bai family came to a close. The remaining matters will be handled by Bai Yuyin herself. Qin Yang drove away from the villa in the mountains, preparing to check on the interrogation situation of Kaven and Yu Na at the secret base. Did Heihu manage to extract any information about the USB drive from them? If all else fails, he was ready to take matters into his own hands, regardless of whether he could get any information. At the very least, he would strengthen contact. Who knows, relevant intelligence might be revealed tomorrow. Throughout his life, Qin Yang had never felt so frustrated. He watched helplessly as the USB drive was sent out right under his nose. If he couldn't retrieve it, what a huge mistake that would be. What kind of losses would it incur for the country and the military? It was simply incalculable. Just after Qin Yang left the villa, Li Yao, who was anxiously waiting at home, received the news. Young Master Li, the one named Chun, has already left. There is only him in the car. Miss Bai should still be at the villa. A wicked smile crept onto Li Yao's lips. He picked up the phone and dialed his subordinate's number. You can act now. After hanging up, Li Yao excitedly paced back and forth. Bai Yuyin, this time, I will not miss my chance. Just wait. At that moment, Bai Yuyin was comforting her brother, Bai Yulong. Bai Yulong was devastated to learn that his leg injury was due to the jealousy of Bai Yuzhu, who had deliberately harmed him. This was hard for him to accept. The injury had turned him into a cripple, unable to go to school like a normal person, make friends, or explore the beautiful landscapes of their homeland. He could no longer climb Mount Tai, visit West Lake, or enjoy the beach. All of this was because of Bai Yuju, who had taken everything away from him. His heart trembled, and tears flowed silently. Bai Yuyin felt a deep pain in her heart. She wished there were a medicine or a medical technique that could heal her brother's leg. She would even be willing to bear the burden herself, to allow her brother to have a healthy and happy life. Suddenly, her phone rang. Bai Yuyin immediately answered. It was a call from the hospital. Director Bai, the condition of patient number 3, for whom you are responsible, has suddenly changed. Dr. Zhang has confirmed that surgery is necessary immediately. What do you think? Before the other party could finish, Bai Yuyin quickly replied, I understand, I'll be back right away. Please prepare for the surgery. I'll be there in half an hour. After putting away her phone, Bai Yuyin quickly urged Bai Yulong and dashed towards the garage. Soon, she drove out of the villa in a red BMW. Xinyang had already entered the secret base and met with He Hu. Brother Hu, is there any progress in the interrogation? He Hu sighed deeply. These spies are all very tight-lipped. We've tried every possible method, but we haven't been able to pry open even a small crack. Xinyang had anticipated this. These individuals were all rigorously trained, specifically in counter-interrogation techniques. Regular interrogations are definitely difficult to succeed. Black Tiger felt a stir in his heart and excitedly looked at Xinyang. Do you have a way? This case is huge. If the core technology is leaked, years of hard work will go to waste, and it will pose a serious threat to national security. We can't afford any mistakes. The mission must be completed. Black Tiger had pledged an oath in front of his superiors. He had to give it his all. Otherwise, his position as team leader would be at an end. Xinyang smiled. It's not exactly a solution, but I plan to personally conduct an interrogation to see if I can find some clues. Black Tiger became excited and immediately pulled Xinyang towards the interrogation room. His past experience told him that as long as Xinyang was involved, things would usually be resolved. Brother, you must do a thorough job. Our team's honor is at stake. Whether I can keep my position as team leader depends on you. Xinyang smiled wryly. He only said he would give it a try, but he couldn't guarantee success. Soon, they arrived at the interrogation room. A male team member and Wang Xiaoyao were interrogating Mei Siluo Cohen. Cohen had a disdainful look, comfortably slouched in the iron chair, while the male team member looked troubled. Wang Xiaoyao was so angry that she trembled all over. Xinyang chuckled. Wang, why are you so upset? As an excellent special operations officer, you need to be calm and composed. Look at you, breathing so heavily. Aren't you affecting the suspect's focus? Wang Xiaoyao was so furious that she gritted her teeth. Xinyang, if you're so capable, why don't you give it a try? After an hour, let us see how calm you are. Xinyang grinned. I'm already very calm. Whereas the commotion? Wang Xiaoyao suddenly realized from his expression and demeanor that this guy wasn't a good person. Humph. If you can pry their mouths open, let me learn from you. Xinyang confidently took a seat in the interrogator's chair. Come on, little secretary. Open your eyes wide and watch how the leader conducts an interrogation. He slapped the table. Just then, an urgent phone ringing interrupted him in the interrogation room. Ringing loudly and harshly. Xinyang felt frustrated, thinking it might be Wang Xiaoyao's phone. But upon listening closely, it seemed like it was his own phone ringing. What a letdown. He pulled out his phone and saw it was a call from Bai Yuyin. He casually swiped to answer. Yuyin. Before he could finish, Bai Yuyin's anxious voice came through. Yang, help me. Just as he picked up, the voice abruptly cut off. Xinyang was shocked and jumped to his feet, his hands trembling. What was happening? He quickly redialed. The number you have dialed is turned off. Xinyang panicked. What kind of danger was Bai Yuyin in? Wasn't she at the villa halfway up the mountain? Xinyang immediately dialed Bai Yulong's WeChat phone number, which Bai Yulong had added when leaving the villa. Yulong, is your sister at home? Bai Yulong was still immersed in sadness and felt a bit dazed. Brother-in-law, my sister just left. Xinyang quickly asked, where did she go? Why the rush? Bai Yulong thought for a moment. It seems she went to the hospital for some urgent matter. As soon as she answered the phone, she left right away. Xinyang didn't have time to say goodbye and hung up the phone. He called the hospital department again. But the other party said there were no patients in trouble and Director Bai had not returned. Boom. Xinyang's mind exploded instantly, buzzing with worry. Chapter 169. Deep into the tiger's den, buried in the bones now. Xinyang was even more anxious. Most likely, Bai Yuyin had encountered something on the way, either an accident or a kidnapping. Liao, I'm going to deal with you. Xinyang was so angry that he almost smashed the table. Time was critical, and the key was that he couldn't find Bai Yuyin's exact location. Even if he wanted to save her, he had no way to do so. In this situation, conventional methods were definitely not going to be fast enough. Saving a person is like extinguishing a fire. 1 second could mean the difference between life and death. Huge Tiger, can you use special channels to locate the phone that just called me? Black Tiger could see that Xinyang was very anxious. If it were someone else, Black Tiger would definitely not agree, as it was a private matter and using state resources was not appropriate. However, Xinyang had made significant contributions and had also risen in rank, so his authority was not less than Black Tiger's. Okay, follow me. I'll arrange it immediately. Black Tiger quickly led Qinyang to an independent area. Inside, there were many staff members operating a range of high-end equipment. This was the technical team responsible for various tasks like monitoring, tracking, locating, and searching. Qinyang immediately reported by Yuyan's number. In less than 10 seconds, the technical staff reported the accurate location. Less than 10 kilometers away, not too far. Qinyang rushed out the door, but then turned back to report Li Yao's number as well. Under Black Tiger's instructions, the staff worked swiftly, and in less than 20 seconds, they locked onto the specific location. When Qinyang saw it, he was shocked to find it was exactly the same as by Yuyan's location. Damn, it really is him. Qinyang was furious, his anger boiling over. Like lightning, he dashed out the door, speeding in his SUV towards the target location. He hoped he would make it in time. Yuyan, please don't get into trouble. If Li Yao dares to do anything reckless, I swear I will make him pay. In a remote factory in the suburbs, Li Yao had imprisoned Bai Yuyan in an office. Her hands and feet were tied, but her mouth was not gagged. It was a secluded place, and apart from Li Yao's men, no one would come nearby. Even if Bai Yuyan screamed her lungs out, no one would hear her. Li Yao looked at the prey in front of him, drooling with anticipation. He has been thinking about her for a long time. Unfortunately, he has always been wary of the influence of her family. He wants to treat her with respect and possess her legitimately. He even hopes to gain both wealth and beauty, obtaining her body and then seizing her family's assets. This has been the plan of the father and son from the Li family all along. Unfortunately, it was disrupted by that kid, who came in and ruined everything. Ha ha. Li Yao laughed triumphantly. Beautiful lady, you never thought that one day you would fall into my hands, allowing me to do as I please, did you? Bai Yuyan shot him a cold glance, her eyes frosty. Humph, do as you please? You're thinking too much. That kid will definitely come to save me. Li Yao shook his head lightly. TSK, TSK. You really want to shed tears until you see the coffin. Do you know where you are? How can he save you if he doesn't even know the address? Are you being too naive? Bai Yuyan pouted. Just because you can't do it, doesn't he mean others can't? I believe in him. He will definitely find a way. Li Yao felt insulted. He was furious and his lips twisted. You ungrateful wretch. You don't appreciate my kindness. Even now, you're still daydreaming. Let me ask you, in what way am I inferior to him? Why are you so stubbornly clinging to him? Bai Yuyan glanced at him disdainfully. Humph. Besides having a wealthy father, what else do you have that can compare to him? Li Yao was filled with indignation. Being belittled by the woman he liked made him furious. Damn, clarify this for me. Whether it's looks, height, ability, status, or future potential, what do I not surpass him in? Bai Yuyan looked him up and down, shook her head, and fell silent. Li Yao was taken aback. Huh, what does that mean? Speak up. Are you silent because you feel guilty? Upon closer inspection, he noticed a strong disdain and mockery in her eyes. Damn. This completely infuriated Li Yao. You dare to look down on me? Do you believe I want to take you right now? Li Yao unbuttoned his shirt, a fierce light flashing in his eyes. I'll make sure to take you, and let us see how you'll marry him after that. That pretty boy, will he still want you? Bai Yuyan trembled all over, instinctively tightening her skin and clenching her legs, engulfed by a deep fear. Li Yao was right. That kid is so outstanding and is never short of beautiful women around him. She is already at a disadvantage due to her age. If she is further ruined by Li Yao, would that kid still accept her? She couldn't dare to gamble on that assumption. But at this moment, what else could she do? Li Yao fully unbuttoned his shirt and waved his hand, instructing 4 big men in black to exit the office. Stay outside. No one is allowed to come in for half an hour without my order. The 4 men exchanged glances, their eyes filled with regret. With such a stunning figure, even if one cannot engage, it's still quite a treat for the eyes. What a pity. The 4 silently retreated from the room, closing the door behind them. Li Yao tore off his shirt and flung it to the ground, his eyes gleaming as he lunged forward. Bai Yuyan screamed in terror. You beast. Stay away. She struggled violently, and with a loud crash, the chair gave way under the strain, toppling over. Bai Yuyan rolled to the floor, crying out, help. Someone help. Li Yao missed his target but immediately seized her, throwing her onto the nearby sofa. With no bed in sight, the long sofa served as a makeshift substitute. This time, Bai Yuyan had nowhere to hide, curling up on the couch, trembling uncontrollably. Help! She continued to shout, hoping to attract attention from outside. Li Yao laughed triumphantly. Stop yelling. Everyone here is on my side. Do you want to invite more people to watch? By then, Bai Yuyan's coat was disheveled from her struggles, revealing a glimpse of fair skin at her chest. Li Yao's eyes gleamed with desire as he swallowed hard and reached out to grab the edge of her clothing. One tear, and a more enticing view would unfold. Suddenly, chaotic noises erupted from outside the door. Just as Li Yao was about to demand an explanation, the office door was kicked open with a bang. Qinyang burst in like a whirlwind, his eyes immediately falling on Bai Yuyan, bound and huddled on the sofa. Sister Yan, are you all right? He asked urgently. Overwhelmed with relief, Bai Yuyan stammered. I. Chen Yang grew frantic. What happened? His gaze shifted to Li Yao, filled with intense fury. Li Yao, do you have a death wish? Seeing this, Bai Yuyan panicked, realizing he had misunderstood. Brother Yang, I'm fine. Don't overthink it, really. I'm okay. Chen Yang relaxed slightly. Good to hear. Sister Yin, wait a moment. Once I deal with this scoundrel, I'll take you home. After calming her, Chen Yang turned his focus back to Li Yao. How do you want to die? Li Yao showed no surprise or fear. Instead, a sinister smile spread across his face. Chen Yang, I didn't expect you to actually find your way here. But since you've come, don't think about leaving. Ha. This is the burial ground I've chosen for you. Chapter 170. A thrilling battle. The hidden adversary Li Yao laughed arrogantly, looking at Chen Yang as if he were already dead. A heavy sense of dread settled in Chen Yang's heart. Could this be a trap? Was Bai Yuyan's kidnapping just a decoy, with eliminating him as the real goal, a two-birds-one-stone scheme? Instinctively, Chen Yang scanned his surroundings, his nerves stretched to the limit. Whoosh! Li Yao threw a swift and powerful punch. This guy is really cunning, launching a sneak attack. Chen Yang blocked hastily, his palm aimed straight for the heart. A solid hit landed on Li Yao's fist. Ugh! Li Yao let out a muffled groan, his bones aching painfully. He had suffered a hidden loss. This reminded him of the last match, when Chen Yang had used this strange palm technique to repeatedly injure his bones and muscles, forcing him to concede defeat. Humph. This time, it wasn't a fair fight. Li Yao was full of confidence. While engaging in combat, he shouted, "Someone, capture Bai Yuyan. If Chen Yang makes a move, I'll cut Bai Yuyan's face." Upon hearing this, both Chen Yang and Bai Yuyan were taken aback. This guy was truly sinister. If he succeeded, it would be troublesome. At that point, with Bai Yuyan in his hands, how could Chen Yang fight back? Whoosh! A flash of cold light appeared. Li Yao had somehow produced a long knife from the east, stealthily stabbing towards Chen Yang's chest. Chen Yang's pupils contracted. He didn't even have time to use his footwork technique. Instinctively, he twisted his waist to evade. Uffed! His waist clothing was torn apart, the blade slicing through the soft flesh, leaving a shallow wound. Blood seeped out, droplets falling. Ah! Bai Yuyan screamed upon witnessing this. "Yangdi, are you okay?" Chen Yang looked down and touched the bloodstain. A chill ran through him. Damn! This little guy's espionage skills were impressive. Not only was his fist technique remarkable, but his East Asian swordsmanship was also extraordinary. If he wasn't careful, he might end up losing his life here. He stepped into a defensive stance, cautiously guarding against this guy's sneak attack, while internally summoning the system to upgrade his skills. Ding! Detected that the host has 410 points. You can spend 400 points to upgrade Heartbreaker to level 4, perfect state. Would you like to upgrade? What? Only 410 points? All along, Chen Yang had been saving up, fearing that he wouldn't have enough points when it mattered most. Now was a critical moment. Fortunately, it was just barely enough. Otherwise, this would be the end. The protagonist would be done for, and the story would conclude. Upgrade. My life is at stake. Even if Chen Yang was stingy, he had to spend it. Ding. Spent 400 points, upgraded Heartbreaker to level 4, perfect state. Reached master level. Current points remaining, 10. In less than a second, Chen Yang felt a shiver run through his body. With the new insight and changes from the Heartbreaker, he wondered what level his strength had reached now. He checked his personal information panel. Host name, Chen Yang. Host age, 22 years old. Theoretical lifespan, 120 years. System level, level 2. 3 pieces of information triggered yesterday. 1 piece triggered today. Life skills, soul entrancing hands, level 4 perfect. God level driving, level 3 proficient. Beast language, level 4 perfect. Multilingual, level 4 perfect. Sharpshooter, level 4 perfect. Master painter, level 1 beginner. Special skills, portable space, level 3, 10 cubic meters. Golden eyes, level 1. Scanning range, 1 meter. Whispering, level 4. Communication range, 30 meters. Combat skills, combat technique, level 4 perfect. Light-fingered, level 4 perfect. Invisible, heart-crushing strike, level 4 perfect. A palm that crushes the heart, star plucking, level 1 beginner. Capturing dragons and tigers, sky-treading step, level 2 minor achievement. Flying over grass, cultivation secret method, none. Combat power level, advanced soldier king, speed essence, strength evaluation, with the star plucking and sky-treading step. Barely able to withstand a junior bright martial artist. Junior bright martial artist? Chen Yang is very satisfied. Although it's a struggle, the gap between major levels is significant. Crossing from the general level to the bright martial artist level is something many can never achieve in their lifetime. Yet Chen Yang can easily reach it. His practical combat power has finally undergone a qualitative leap. He believes that the current threat is no longer a real threat. Glancing at Li Yao opposite him, Chen Yang smiled faintly. Taking a step forward, he proactively attacked. With a knife in hand, Li Yao was in high spirits, pressing down on Chen Yang. Seeing him recklessly coming forward, he laughed. Die. The long knife slashed down with immense force, sweeping in like a whirlwind. Qinyang lowered his body, slipping through the gap. With a backhand strike, he hit Li Yao in the ribs. Crack! Ouch! Li Yao clutched his waist. A rib had already been shattered. Qinyang secretly felt pleased. The master-level heart-crushing palm is indeed extraordinary. Not only is it faster, but the angles are also more cunning. The destructive power is remarkably uncomfortable, not to mention bones. Even a piece of steel could be cracked internally. Li Yao was sweating from the pain on his forehead. He couldn't understand how he went from being unable to match him to suddenly becoming so powerful. Could it be that he was pretending to be weak to lure me in? Damn, this guy doesn't look like a good person at all. Always scheming against me. Li Yao's eyes darted around, but Qinyang didn't give him any opportunities. He charged in with the sky-treading step, pressing him down. In less than 3 minutes, Li Yao had 5 ribs broken and received a palm strike to his back. If it weren't for his strong foundation at the peak of the advanced soldier level, these blows could have cost him his life. However, Li Yao was also in a bad state now. His hand holding the Eastern knife began to tremble, his steps unsteady, and he was on the verge of collapse. Qinyang felt a sense of calm. Li Yao, put down your knife. I can spare your life for now. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 hidden weapons shot in through the window, aiming for Qinyang's forehead, throat, and heart. The speed was astonishing. In the blink of an eye, they were already a meter away from Qinyang. The intense blue-green light sent a jolt of fear through him. These were poisoned weapons, deadly upon contact. Swish. Qinyang's hair stood on end. Every muscle in his body tensed up instantly. The fear of death stimulated every nerve. Adrenaline surged. With a divine movement, he slightly shifted, narrowly dodging the 3 hidden weapons. At that moment, Qinyang didn't have time to feel joy. The divine movement technique had clearly made a breakthrough. Although he hadn't leaped from the first realm of grass to the second realm of water, he had reached the peak of the second level, a minor achievement. Who was it? With a swift move, Qinyang captured Li Yao and threw him to the ground. Clang! The long knife fell, and Li Yao curled up, completely losing his fighting ability. In a leap, Qinyang dove out of the window. The one who had launched the hidden weapons was a master. If he wasn't eliminated or driven away, he would always be a threat. Enemies hiding in the shadows are always more dangerous than those in the open, causing more concern. In the distance, a shadow flashed by. Wow, quite fast. Qinyang's tense nerves relaxed. Suddenly, a gasp echoed in the room. Not good. It was Bai Yuyan. Chapter 171. Ashamed. I'm afraid I can't bear your trust. Yinjia. Qinyang felt a chill run down his spine. Li Yao. Don't touch Yinjia. Otherwise, I will crush you to dust. He dashed forward, like a bird flying into the forest, jumping back into the room through the window. Looking up, Bai Yuyan was still on the sofa, but Li Yao was nowhere to be seen. Qinyang was puzzled. Yinjia, are you okay? Where's Li Yao? Bai Yuyan shook her head, still shaken. I'm fine. I yelled because a man in black rushed in, grabbed Li Yao, and ran off. It startled me. Qinyang thought for a moment. Li Yao really put in a lot of effort this time, setting up such a trap. The scheme was simple, but a bold one. Qinyang had to jump in, facing an ambush, and he didn't hesitate to expose the Eastern sword technique. Also deploying 2 ninja masters. If he hadn't secretly improved his combat power, he would definitely have died here today. What a pity. Letting Li Yao escape was not a good thing. This guy is a spy with high martial arts skills and ninja helpers. Who knows what bad things he might do? Wow. Qinyang helped Bai Yuyan untie the ropes on her hands and feet. Her voluptuous figure immediately leaped into his arms, crying pitifully and quickly soaking his shirt. Yinjia, it's okay now, let us go home. Qinyang comforted her like an older brother soothing a younger sister. Bai Yuyan sobbed. Head up, chest out. Wipe your tears. You saved me again. Qinyang smiled and reached out to help her up. Oh, Bai Yuyan stumbled and almost fell. What's wrong? Qinyang asked anxiously. My hands and feet are numb from being tied for too long. I can't exert any strength, Bai Yuyan frowned. Without saying a word, Qinyang scooped her up in a princess carry. Hey, what are you doing? Bai Yuyan shouted in embarrassment. Don't shout. Be good. I'm taking you home. Qinyang warned sternly. Bai Yuyan immediately stopped, like a little girl obediently listening. She even wrapped her arms around Qinyang's neck, pulling them closer together. The vehicle returned to the mountainside villa. At the entrance, Bai Yuntian and Bai Yulong were waiting anxiously. Seeing Bai Yuyan being carried out, Bai Yuntian rushed over, concerned. Yuyan, how are you? Do you need to go to the hospital? Bai Yuyan blushed. Dad, I'm fine. My hands and feet were tied for a long time, so they're a bit weak. Bai Yuntian let out a long sigh of relief. Bai Yulong looked gratefully at Qinyang. Brother-in-law, thank you for saving my sister. Qinyang smiled wryly. Yulong, now that you've called me brother-in-law, isn't it expected that I save your sister? Bai Yulong felt a bit awkward. Brother-in-law, I misspoke. But are you okay? Did you get hurt? Qinyang felt warm inside. This little brother-in-law is not bad. He even cares about his brother-in-law. I'm fine, haha. After bringing Bai Yuyan back to her room, Qin Yang stayed and chatted with her for a long time to calm her emotions. With a reluctant gaze, Bai Yuyan watched Qin Yang leave the room. As he passed through the hall, he happened to see Bai Yuntian. Uncle, I have something to do, so I'll leave first. Yuyan was startled, so it's best for her to rest for 2 days before going back to work. Bai Yuntian smiled and escorted Qin Yang to the door. Suddenly, he looked at him seriously. Xiao Chun. Qin Yang cleared his throat. Ahem, uncle, you're my elder. Just call me Yangzi. My parents usually call me that. Bai Yuntian smiled with satisfaction. Yangzi, I can tell that Yuyan really likes you. You're also a wonderful young man, and I have high hopes for you. Now that I'm handing the group company over to Yuyan, you must support her more in the future. Qin Yang nodded earnestly. Uncle, you can rest assured, I will definitely help her. Bai Yuntian smiled with relief. I believe in you. I'm very reassured to entrust Yuyan to you. I hope you both can be happy, safe, and joyful for a lifetime. Qin Yang felt a bit moved, and a little embarrassed. He probably doesn't deserve such trust from Uncle Bai. Arriving at the secret base of the third group, it was already quite late. Heihu was still working overtime, interrogating Cowan and Yuna. Unfortunately, there was still no progress. Qin Yang couldn't focus on the interrogation situation. Brother Hu, I have received definite news. The young heir of Chongqing Group, Li Yao, is a spy from a small island nation. I have encountered him personally. He used the Eastern swordsmanship technique. Unfortunately, during the capture, an expert from that nation's ninja forces intervened and rescued him. Our special operations unit must immediately issue a wanted notice. This individual is extremely dangerous, possessing peak abilities of a senior warrior. And the ninjas around him are also very formidable. Brothers, if you encounter him, be extra cautious. Heihu's expression was serious. I will definitely relay the message. Qin Yang then recalled something. I suspect that Chongqing Group is not clean. If the son is a spy, the father doesn't seem to be a good person either. Brother Hu, you should send someone to investigate more. There should be some gains. Heihu nodded. There are always people who forget their roots and will do anything for profit. Don't worry, as long as he has problems, I will definitely uncover them. Qin Yang smiled and said, Brother Hu, it's too late. I will come back tomorrow morning to interrogate Cowan and Yuna. I'm off now. You should rest early. Returning to the lakeside villa, Zhuo Wuyang, Bao Qingqing, and the others were all asleep. Qin Yang went back to his room and washed up briefly. Just as he was about to sleep, he suddenly received a call from Jiang Qingying. Qin Yang, tomorrow night is the new boss's meeting. Mr. Zhua has assigned this task to our administrative department, and we are leading it. Everyone is quite busy, so I thought of giving you a small task. Qin Yang casually asked, what task? Jiang Qingying replied, since it's the new boss's first meeting with everyone, he will surely say a few words to encourage everyone. Please write a speech for him, around 500 words. It should be concise and can be done in a few minutes. This task is very simple. You don't have any problem with it, right? Qin Yang was at a loss for words. What is this? Writing a speech for myself? And it's assigned by the leadership. Manager Jiang, I suggest that we don't need to write a speech. The new boss might not even speak at all. Even if he does, with such a big boss, he could just improvise, right? Why do we need to prepare a speech for him? Jiang Qingying was almost furious. You, Qin Yang, do you not want to write it? Don't think that just because you have recently achieved great merit, I can't deal with you. Chapter 172, Intelligence Breakthrough, Plans for a Long Journey, Qin Yang chuckled. Manager Jiang, how could that be? I have always abided by the law and respected my leaders. I am particularly obedient to you. However, I truly can't do it this time. I need to take leave during the day tomorrow, and I will attend the gathering in the evening. Jiang Qingying was completely speechless. Without saying another word, she directly hung up the phone. Lying on her bed, she hugged her pillow and began to hit it. I'll get you. I'll get you. The next morning, Qin Yang immediately checked the intelligence for the day. Ding. Today's intelligence has refreshed. Intelligence 1. A USB drive has been stealthily delivered by a food delivery worker. A female spy named Sun Yun took the USB drive and will hand over the intelligence on a cruise ship in international waters in 2 days. Intelligence 2. Due to your assistance, Wang Fei is very grateful and willing to work loyally for you. Intelligence 3. Li Chongqing and his son have new schemes. Qin Yang is reviewing them one by one. The first piece of intelligence is the most important and timely. After much effort, he finally obtained the result he wanted to interrogate, the loss of the USB drive. Qin Yang feels he has made a serious mistake. This time, he must retrieve it himself. He has to go to the cruise ship in 2 days. The second piece of intelligence brings him another loyal helper, which is worth celebrating. The third piece of intelligence is a bit regretful. It mentions that Li Chongqing and Li Yao are plotting again. Unfortunately, it doesn't clarify what the specific plan is. All he knows is that the general target is the Yuntian group. Qin Yang immediately takes out his phone and calls Bai Yuyan. Sister Yin, Li Yao has escaped. And the Li family scheme has completely failed. I suspect they won't be satisfied and will definitely cause trouble again. During this time, you must pay attention to your safety, at least until the Li family father and son are caught. Bai Yuyan quickly agrees. I understand, you must also be careful. Qinyang feels warm in his heart. You don't need to worry about me. By the way, you should remind Uncle Bai to be cautious as well. I sense that the Li family father and son are still coveting the Yun Tian group and must have further moves. Bai Yuyan agrees as well. After the call ends, she thinks for a moment and immediately calls Bai Yuntian. Haha, Yin, what's the matter? Bai Yuntian laughs happily. Dad. Qinyang just called and said that the Li family father and son are still scheming and might target us again. He asked me to stay safe. Bai Yuyan seriously reminds him. Bai Yuntian is very pleased. I really like this young man, Qinyang. Yin, you must seize the opportunity. After all, you are not young anymore. Bai Yuyan huffs. Dad, if there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Bai Yuntian immediately becomes serious. Yin, you should rest at home in the morning and come to the headquarters in the afternoon. I will discuss things with the directors in the morning, and we will officially hold a board meeting in the afternoon. I will announce your establishment as the heir of the group, transfer 20 of the shares to your name, and appoint you as the vice president of the group. Bai Yuyan feels both happy and troubled. She is happy because she can help her brother take control of the Yun Tian group. In her heart, she always feels that if it weren't for the leg injury, Yun Long should inherit the group. She is troubled because she is a surgeon, does not understand, and has no time to participate in group management. Dad. About this vice president position. Bai Yuntian interrupts her with a smile. I know what you are worried about. It's okay for now. You will just hold a title with rights to participate in management. Your dad is still strong and can help you oversee things. At least for 10 or 20 years. I can still handle it. Bai Yuyan feels relieved. Thank you, Dad. At this moment, Qinyang has arrived at the secret base of Team 3. Hei Hu is still stubbornly questioning Cowan, but has gained nothing. Brother Hu, you can stop the interrogation, Qinyang said with a smile. Hei Hu looked helpless. How can I stop? I've received 3 calls from above in one day, asking for the interrogation results. If I don't have results, I have to report in person to the capital. Next step is to take the fall. Do you think I'm not anxious? Qinyang chuckled. Brother Hu, you don't need to be anxious anymore. I've gathered some information. Hei Hu's face showed shock. Really? Qinyang nodded. Hei Hu was overjoyed, dancing around. That's great. Brother, you truly are my savior. Quickly, where is the USB drive? Has the core technology been leaked? Qinyang waved his hand. Let's talk in your office. Hei Hu realized and immediately lowered his voice. Right, top secret information must be kept strictly confidential. Once they reached the team leader's office, Qinyang detailed the intelligence to Hei Hu. Hei Hu's expression turned serious. So, we can only wait until 2 days later to act on the cruise in international waters? Qinyang nodded. Exactly. Moreover, this time to the international waters, regardless of how you plan on arranging things, I must participate. The USB drive was lost in my hands, and I must personally bring it back. Hei Hu glanced at him and slightly nodded. If you can run this trip personally, that's certainly great. Although I don't know what level you have reached, I suspect no one in Team 3 is your match. Let's do it this way. You will still be in charge of this mission. I will send elite troops to assist you in completing this important task. The two then carefully discussed the specific action plan. After leaving the secret base, Qinyang originally intended to go to the Moon Bay Hotel to meet Jiang Qingying, so as to prevent her from sulking. However, Lu Cixi called, inviting him to visit the new company's office. Qinyang drove to a luxurious office building. Lu Cixi was already waiting downstairs. As the big boss, why haven't you come to inspect the work until now? Upon meeting, Lu Cixi began to complain. Qinyang chuckled. You are also a boss. How could I not trust you? Lu Cixi pouted. But you are the major shareholder, and Yulan and I are just working for you. As they entered the elevator, Lu Cixi started to introduce the building. This building has a total of 27 floors, and we've only rented the top 3 floors. When they reached the 25th floor, they were greeted by a lavishly decorated company reception hall. The sign for Ryuexing Entertainment Company was prominently displayed at the entrance. Lu Cixi then took Qinyang on a tour of the various floors and office areas. Finally, they arrived in front of a super large office. Is this the general manager's office? Qinyang asked, slightly puzzled. Lu Cixi smiled. Although you don't come often, Yulan and I discussed it and decided to prepare an office for you. Otherwise, you would have even more reasons not to come see us. Chapter 173, Misfortune Strikes. A 20-year scheme, Qinyang smiled bitterly and shook his head, especially upon seeing the office space, which was more than double the size of the vice president offices of Lu Cixi and Su Yulan. The facilities inside were also more abundant and complete, including a reception room, lounge, shower room, gym equipment, bar cabinet, and a small cinema, all available. It was too luxurious. Qinyang couldn't help but sigh. You really are. Lu Cixi chuckled. If you think it's a waste to leave it empty, Yulan and I can come by during our free time to help you experience it. How about that? Qinyang nodded. All right. At least it won't be too wasteful. Then he asked, I see the company is on the right track. Do you have any difficulties, or is there anything I can help with? Lu Cixi thought for a moment. Recently, Yulan has a new project and doesn't have much free time. Our company is still in its early stages and needs to recruit some artists, especially influential ones, to quickly strengthen our capabilities. I'm planning to go to a certain city soon to try and recruit some major stars. But I'm worried that no one will keep an eye on the company while I'm gone. Chen Yang's heart stirred. This time when I go to the offshore oil tanker, I'll pass through that city. After completing the mission, I can take care of this personal matter on the way back. You can rest assured to stay at the company and leave this matter to me. Lu Cece seemed a bit uneasy. Is it convenient for you? Chen Yang smiled. No problem, it's on the way. Just make a list of the big stars you want to find, and I'll try my best to bring them back for you. Lu Cece playfully hit him. How did a good thing turn into something that sounds like a scam in your mouth? We will definitely provide the best treatment. At noon, Lu Cece booked a quiet private room for just the two of them to have lunch together. The dishes were quite good, and Chen Yang enjoyed his meal. Lu Cece, on the other hand, hardly ate much, spending most of the time watching Chen Yang eat heartily, her eyes filled with happiness. After finishing their meal, they planned to take a walk to digest. Suddenly, Bai Yuyan's call came in. Yang Di, woo-woo, something happened to my dad, woo-woo. She was sobbing on the other end. Chen Yang's hand trembled, almost dropping the phone. Sister Yan, where are you? I'll come right away, Bai Yuyan cried. At the first municipal hospital, my dad is in emergency. Chen Yang hung up the phone and rushed out immediately. Upon arriving at the first municipal hospital, Bai Yuyan threw herself into Chen Yang's arms, crying uncontrollably. Woo-woo, my dad is gone, woo-woo. Chen Yang's heart sank. He hugged Bai Yuyan tightly, gently patting her soft back to soothe her emotions. Turning to look, he saw Bai Yulong sitting in a wheelchair, his eyes vacant, silently shedding tears. Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu were nowhere to be seen. That afternoon, with Chen Yang's help, Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong contacted the funeral personnel and arranged the mourning hall at home. Accepting the farewells and condolences from friends and relatives, the brother and sister wore mourning clothes, looking utterly miserable. Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu, the mother and daughter, had not appeared at all. By the afternoon, Bai Yuyan and her brother suddenly received a last-minute notice. At 4 p.m., Yuntian Group would hold a board meeting at the headquarters to re-elect a new chairman. Bai Yuyan was so angry that she threw her phone. Their father had just passed away, and they didn't come to pay their respects, but instead were holding a board meeting? They were all ungrateful. Chen Yang thought for a moment and reminded her. Yan, this might not be that simple. Bai Yuyan was taken aback. You think they're a conspiracy? Chen Yang nodded. From the equity structure, the minor shareholders can't play any tricks. It's likely set up by Zhang Li. Bai Yuyan considered this and realized it was indeed possible. This woman had a heart of a snake and scorpion. She didn't even show up when their father passed away. And now suddenly there was news of a board meeting. Only she, with years of management experience, could have such influence. What should we do? Bai Yuyan asked. Chen Yang gently comforted her. It's okay. Wait a moment. I'll accompany you to see what that woman is up to. When Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong, dressed in mourning clothes, entered the Yuntian Group meeting room, all the shareholders instinctively lowered their heads, not daring to meet Bai Yuyan's cold gaze. Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu were sitting there, with Zhang Li surprisingly in the top position, the chairman's seat. Aunt Zhang, are you sitting in the wrong position? According to my father's wishes, the heir of the group is me, not you. Now that he has passed away, this position can only be occupied by me. Zhang Li smiled coldly. Yuyan, don't be anxious. Let's hear what Lawyer Wang has to say about who should sit here. As she spoke, she pointed to a middle-aged man in a suit sitting in a corner of the meeting room. He took out a stack of documents from his briefcase. Due to the late chairman's wishes, 20 of the shares were to be transferred to Miss Bai. However, this document has not been signed and executed before his passing. Therefore, it is void. He continued, since the chairman passed away suddenly and did not leave a will, according to legal provisions, Ms. Zhang Li, as the legitimate wife of the chairman, has the same inheritance rights as the two young ladies and the young master. Upon hearing this, Bai Yuyan's expression changed instantly. This meant that Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu would hold half of the inheritance rights. If they could win over the minor shareholders to their side, the chairman's position would likely belong to her. It was hard to believe that all the hard work their father put into building this legacy would ultimately benefit her. Zhang Li smiled proudly. Yuyan, how about it? Now that I'm sitting in this position, you have no objections, right? Bai Yuyan was furious, her face turning pale, and she clenched her fists tightly, unable to say a word. However, Chen Yang was fuming inside. This woman is truly calculating. After enduring for 20 years, she has finally taken over. Ding. Trigger today's intelligence. Intelligence 4. Bai Yuntian was killed by Zhang Li and Li Yao, and Bai Yuzhu is the daughter of Li Changshen. Boom. This piece of information is simply shocking. It completely stuns Chen Yang. He never dreamed that Bai Yuntian's death would be the result of a collaboration between Zhang Li and Li Yao. Even more unexpected is that Bai Yuzhu is not Bai Yuntian's daughter, but rather the child of Li Changshen. Li Yao and Bai Yuzhu are half-siblings. No wonder throughout, Li Yao and Bai Yuzhu had such a good relationship. and Zhang Li marrying Bai Yuntian and pretending for so long. Could it be that Li Changsheng had already set up this scheme 20 years ago to seize the Bai family's assets? It's truly terrifying to think about. Chapter 174. Turning the tide. Faced with Zhang Li's show-off, Bai Yuyan's face darkens, and she remains silent. She never expected that in the blink of an eye, the situation would reverse. After her father's passing, the entire Bai family collapses, and even the Yuntian group, which her father built, is about to be handed over. Zhang Li sits firmly in the chairman's seat, her face blooming with a proud smile. Dear directors, the former chairman, Bai, was my husband. Now that he is gone, this burden has been passed to me. I will dedicate myself to the development of the group and the welfare of everyone. I believe our Yuntian group will continue to thrive. Bai Yuzhu is also quite pleased. During her time in the Bai family, she lost the chance to inherit due to Chunyang's interference. This time, with the old man gone, it has instead benefited her and her mother. No matter how hard you struggle or how much effort you put in, this Bai family, this Yuntian group, will ultimately still belong to me. Bai Yulong looks at this sister, the one who caused him to be disabled for life. And his feelings are complicated. She harmed him without hesitation. After their father's death, she shows no signs of sorrow. What kind of heart does she have? Doesn't she feel any guilt? Bai Yuyan looks at this mother-daughter pair and can hardly bear to look. Their relatives have passed away. Yet there is no sadness in their hearts or tears in their eyes. On the contrary, they are scheming for inheritance. What's even more infuriating is that every director present was either brought up by their father or worked alongside him for many years. Do they not cherish any old feelings at all? She suddenly stands up, her gaze burning as she looks at the directors, her eyes sweeping over their faces one by one. Dear uncles and aunts, my father has just passed away. Thank you for your support and help over the years. And for your dedication to Yuntian Group. I believe the current situation is very clear. My father must have mentioned to you before his passing that I should be established as the heir to the group. Now, I only ask one question. Who do you support? The directors look at each other, momentarily speechless. There was a look of entanglement and difficulty in her eyes. Zhang Li coughed softly. Everyone, you need to think more about the future of the group and your own benefits. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone made up their minds. I think it's very appropriate for General Manager Zhang to be the chairman. I support it. I support MS. Zhang Li as the chairman of the group and Ms. Bai Yuzhu as the president of the group. In an instant, almost everyone overwhelmingly supported Zhang Li and her daughter. Everyone. Qinyang suddenly stood up. If Zhang Li is the murderer, can she still be the chairman? If Bai Yuzhu is not the daughter of Bai Yuntian, does she still have inheritance rights? This statement was shocking. Bang! Zhang Li was the first to slam the table and shout angrily, "What nonsense are you talking about?" Bai Yuzhu also widened her eyes in disbelief. Are you crazy? The directors present were taken aback, expressing doubts and objections to Chunyang's words. Even Bai Yulong and Bai Yuyan looked at him with disbelief. Today's situation was indeed very complex and difficult. However, was it really necessary to fabricate such a huge lie? The key question was, who would believe it? Everyone present looked at Chunyang as if he were a fool, saying something that no one would believe. Chunyang remained calm, with a confident smile on his face. According to my investigation, the truth is explosive. So I can understand your shock and skepticism. Years ago, Zhang Li was the leader of the Li family, the chairman of Changxing Group, and the secret lover of Li Changxing. 20 years ago, under Li Changxing's arrangement, Zhang Li married your chairman, Mr. Bai Yuntian. However, Ms. Zhang did not follow the rules. After marrying Bai Yuntian, she continued to secretly interact with Li Changsheng, which is how Bai Yuzhu came to be. Qinyang pointed at Bai Yuzhu. If you don't believe it, you can immediately do a DNA paternity test to see if Bai Yuzhu is really Mr. Bai Yuntian's daughter. I can guarantee that their DNA has no relation whatsoever. Bai Yuzhu turned pale with fright, instinctively looking at her mother, Zhang Li. Zhang Li's face turned ashen, trembling as she pointed at Chunyang's forehead and shouted, "You're spouting nonsense and slandering me. I have not done anything to wrong Bai Yuntian, and Yuzhu is certainly a member of the Bai family." Chunyang sneered. Since I dare to point this out, I naturally have ample evidence. You have met with Li Changxing multiple times at the Rose Garden Villa, and there are many surveillance cameras along the way that captured it. In fact, there is a camera right at the entrance of the villa that can see everything clearly. Moreover, you met secretly just last night. Whether it was a rendezvous or a conspiracy to commit murder is unclear. However, this afternoon, when Li Yao killed Bai Yuntian, you did indeed provide assistance. You don't need to deny this, as there are eyewitnesses who saw this scene with their own eyes. And they recorded a video that can completely serve as evidence for the murder charge. Everyone was completely dumbfounded. Qinyang spoke convincingly, leaving no room for doubt. Bai Yuzhu looked at Zhang Li with confusion. Mom, am I really Uncle Li's daughter? Zhang Li collapsed onto the ground, exclaiming, No, this is all a lie. Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong's eyes were filled with rage. If their father truly conspired with this woman to harm them, they must make her pay in blood. Yang didn't say much and directly called the police. Upon hearing it was a murder case, the police arrived in less than 10 minutes and took Zhongli away. Yang went along to assist with the investigation and provide relevant clues. Before leaving the police station, he specifically reminded them to protect the eyewitness, ensuring that Li Yao wouldn't silence her. By the time everything was settled, it was already dark. Yang looked at the time. It was 1955. He immediately sent a message to Zhua Hongmei. At that moment, in the Zhuangyuan Hall of the Moon Bay Hotel, Jiang Qingying and her team had everything set up. The celebration party and meeting with the new boss primarily involved management above the hotel's supervisor level. The number of attendees wasn't small, but it wasn't too large either. The atmosphere was very lively, with all the leaders, including Zhua Hongmei, already present. Only 2 people were missing. One was the administrative officer, Chen Yang, and the other was the new boss. Qinjia, look at the time. Chen Yang still hasn't arrived, Jiang Qingying complained, pouting as she glanced at Zhua Hongmei not far away. I think that guy Chen Yang has an even bigger attitude than President Zhua. He's going to regret it sooner or later. Zhong Qin smiled and replied, don't be upset. Maybe he's just delayed by something. Look, President Zhua isn't upset either. Jiang Qingying frowned. No way. He's from our administrative department. I can't let him be so careless. I must discipline him later. Zhong Qin sighed and shook her head without saying anything. Zhua Hongmei checked her phone and suddenly announced loudly, colleagues, in a moment, around 2020. The new boss will arrive on time. Please remember to line up and applaud to welcome them. Chapter 175. Preparing to make promises? As the new boss was about to arrive, Chen Yang still hadn't shown up. Luigi, the director of housekeeping, quietly asked Zhong Qin, why hasn't your hero arrived yet? Shui Yufeng, the director of catering, was also concerned. You all are quite relaxed. How can you let him be late for such an important occasion? Jean Ling, the sales manager, had a very good impression of Chen Yang and was overly enthusiastic. What if the new boss arrives before he does? That would leave a bad impression. Upon hearing this, Jiang Qingying became even more anxious. She quickly took out her phone and dialed Chen Yang's number. When will you get here? If you don't hurry, the new boss might arrive first. Chen Yang felt helpless and quickly reassured her, I definitely won't be later than the new boss. After hanging up, Jiang Qingying felt a bit more at ease. 2010, Zhua Hongmei organized everyone to line up, preparing to warmly welcome the new boss. Among a group of beautiful women stood a security manager, Ma Dashan, along with 2 sales supervisors, making a total of 3 men. It was quite a splash of green among the flowers. However, Ma Dashan, being experienced, felt completely at ease. The 2 young sales supervisors, on the other hand, were a bit excited, surrounded by a pleasant fragrance and a multitude of beautiful women. Innocent, mature, slender, curvy, long-legged, and slim-waisted. It was overwhelming. At 2017, Chen Yang arrived on time. He waved his hand, ready to greet the cheers of the crowd. Chen Yang, come over. We've been waiting for you. Jiang Qingying urged eagerly. Quick. Stand next to me. The new boss is coming soon. Chen Yang was a bit dazed. Were these people all lined up just to welcome him? Why was he being asked to join the line upon his arrival? Yangzi, what are you daydreaming about? Come over and stand with us. Zhong Qin beckoned warmly and kindly. At that moment, Shui Yufeng, Luigi, and others also waved, urging Chen Yang to join the lineup quickly. It wouldn't be good if the new boss saw him standing apart. Chen Yang wanted to say something, but held back. With everyone being so enthusiastic, he could only accept it helplessly and quickly slipped into the line next to Jiang Qingying. Why did you take so long? You knew the new boss was coming today, but still didn't he come earlier? Jiang Qingying whispered reproachfully. Chen Yang was quite speechless and could only admit his mistake. I'll definitely pay attention next time. Besides, I'm not late, am I? Jiang Qingying was still upset. Then why didn't you want to write the speech last night? Chen Yang turned to look at her. Did you help write that draft? Jiang Qingying shot him a big eye roll. Of course. If you don't write it, I won't either. How can that work? Chen Yang reached out. Let me see it. How did you write it? Smack. Jiang Qingying lightly swatted Chen Yang's hand away. Why should I show it to you? It's for the leader. Can you even understand it? Chen Yang teased with a smile. If I can't understand it, then your draft must be subpar. Jiang Qingying looked at him disdainfully. Do you think the leader is on your level? At 2020, everyone stood up straight, their eyes secretly glancing toward the door. It was time. Why hadn't the new boss appeared yet? After waiting for another 3 minutes, Zhong Qin finally couldn't help but ask Zhua Hongmei. Zhua, it's been 3 minutes. And the new boss still hasn't come. Is there something wrong on the way? Shui Yufeng also tilted her head to inquire. Should we go out and take a look? Zhua Hongmei did not answer their questions, but instead looked at Chen Yang. Chen Yang smiled and took a few steps forward, turning to face everyone. Everyone, you don't need to wait anymore. No one is coming. The crowd erupted in confusion. Why? Why isn't the new boss coming? Did something suddenly come up, or is there some dissatisfaction with the Moon Bay Hotel? Chen Yang pressed his hands down to calm everyone. Everyone, please don't be anxious. Let me speak. The scene gradually calmed down. All eyes were focused on Chen Yang. Everyone, When I said no one else is coming, I didn't mean the new boss isn't coming. What I meant is, the person you are waiting for is me. This statement shocked everyone even more. They couldn't figure out what Qinyang meant. It was still Zhongqin who took the lead to ask, Yangzi, what do you mean? Are you saying you are our new boss? You can't joke about that. Everyone chimed in, persuading Qinyang not to mess around. Only Shui Yufeng showed a look of doubt. Everyone quiet down. Suddenly, Zhua Hongmei stood up. Listen to me. I am now officially introducing our new boss, Mr. Qinyang. Let's give him a warm welcome. Saying this, she raised her hands first and applauded enthusiastically. Clap, clap. Soon, everyone reacted and began to clap. Shock was written on everyone's faces. Who would have thought that a small supervisor was actually the big boss of the company? Moreover, he was so young. Most likely, he was a wealthy second generation. However, based on their interactions over this period, he didn't seem like a typical rich kid. Which wealthy second generation is so approachable? So, as they pondered, everyone began to feel happy again, smiles spreading across their faces. Having such a new boss is definitely better than anyone else, right? At least he looks familiar. Ma Dashin felt both lucky and regretful. He was lucky because his relationship with Qinyang was decent. Every time Qinyang came to the security department, he received him warmly. He had also readily supported Wang Fei and Zhou Xiaojing. The regret was that he hadn't flattered him earlier and tried to win him over. Without knowing Qinyang's identity, flattering him wouldn't count as flattery. It would be called revolutionary friendship. As the applause gradually subsided, Zhua Hongmei enthusiastically said, Mr. Chun, today, you are meeting everyone for the first time as the big boss. Please say a few words to guide our work. Everyone welcome. Before Qinyang could decline, the applause, cheers, and calls erupted below. Good. Welcome Mr. Chun to speak. Please say a few words. It will motivate everyone. Qinyang smiled, hands clasped together. Thank you all for your enthusiasm. Everyone is very warm. And I am very happy and moved. However, he turned to Jiang Qingying. I'm afraid our manager Jiang might not be too pleased. Earlier, I asked her to show me the speech draft, and she hasn't given it to me yet. As soon as he finished speaking, the whole audience burst into laughter. Jiang Qingying's face turned bright red. She pinched the speech draft in her hand, unsure whether to give it or not. Qinyang quickly spoke up to ease her embarrassment. I told manager Jiang last night that the new boss doesn't need a speech draft. I am a straightforward person, not one for formalities. These days, I've seen that Yuehu Bei is doing quite well, and I'm very pleased. Thank you, Mr. Zhua, for your dedicated management. And thanks to everyone for your hard work. His gaze lingered on each person's face, filled with sincerity and emotion. I hope everyone can trust me and work together. I will not let you down. I also hope that everyone will continue to support Mr. Zhua's work, working together to make the Moon Bay Hotel bigger and stronger. During his pause, the audience erupted in warm applause. Regarding the future of the hotel, I want to share that my goal does not stop at just one hotel. Chapter 176, Hotel Group, Strategic Planning. Qinyang's speech captivated everyone's attention. I hope to establish a regional, or even international, star-rated hotel chain in the next 5 to 10 years. Big brand, big vision, big planning. High quality, high returns, high benefits. The future development holds infinite possibilities. I hope everyone will study hard, work diligently, and improve themselves. I can guarantee that as long as everyone puts in the effort, you will all be key contributors on this grand ship. In the future hotel group, you will all have a place. Qinyang's vision opened everyone's eyes. No one expected that the young boss had such grand ambitions. If all this can truly be realized, then everyone present will reach the peak of their lives and achieve their personal values. The applause grew louder and longer. Everyone's face was filled with excitement and joy, with light and hope in their eyes. Finally, I announced that starting this month, all hotel employees will receive a 20 salary increase. As soon as Qinyang said this, the venue erupted in excitement. More promises are intangible, like pie in the sky. Only the tangible salary increase is the most real. Everyone raised their hands, jumping up and cheering. Boss is great. Boss is amazing. Long live the boss. As the welcoming ceremony concluded, everyone took their seats to begin the feast and drinks. Today, Qinyang was the sole focus. After just a couple of bites, people came to toast him continuously. Qinyang, skilled in handling drinks, could drink 1,000 cups without getting drunk. He accepted every toast. Of course, he returned a drink to every manager level and above. The atmosphere was lively, with many people toasting Qinyang multiple times, especially Ma Dashin, Jin Ling, and a few others, each having at least 3 cups or more. Besides drinking with Qinyang, they also exchanged toasts among themselves. Zhua Hongmei was a particular focus of attention. The banquet lasted for 3 hours before officially concluding. Zhongqin, being very sensible, noticed Qinyang had drunk too much and was a bit unsteady on his feet. So he arranged for Jin Ling and Jiang Qingying to escort the boss back to the presidential suite. However, their personalities were completely different. Jin Ling was excitedly rushing to help. Jiang Qingying, however, blushed, and hesitated, reluctantly joining Jean Ling to assist the dizzy Qin Yang into the presidential suite. They laid Qin Yang down on the bed. Jiang Qingying was out of breath and collapsed onto the bed, nearly unable to get up. Jean Ling, tall and strong, not only had good drinking capacity, but also stamina. She glanced at Qin Yang, who was tightly wrapped up. Sister Xiaoying, should we help President Chen out of his clothes? Jiang Qingying instinctively shook her head. Is that appropriate? Jean Ling disagreed. It's uncomfortable to sleep in clothes. President Chen has drunk too much and doesn't he feel it right now? When he wakes up tomorrow, he will realize he feels terrible all over. If he sleeps without clothes, he won't feel uncomfortable. Jiang Qingying was a bit tempted. Then should we take off his jacket? Jean Ling was thrilled. All right, let us do it together. Next, the two beautiful women worked together and quickly removed Chun Yang's shirt and pants. Excitement sparkled in Jean Ling's eyes. What about the rest? Should we take it off? Jiang Qingying's face turned as red as an apple. That night, Qin Yang slept very comfortably. When he opened his eyes, he found himself lying on a strange bed. He lifted the blanket and realized he was completely undressed. He was a bit puzzled. This is quite thorough. Did I kick them off in a drunken stupor last night? After washing up and having breakfast, Qin Yang checked the day's intelligence. Ding! Today's intelligence refreshed. Information 1. Jiang Qingying is restless and has developed a crush on you. Information 2. Li Changsheng is gathering funds and preparing to escape. Information 3. Bai Yuyan is feeling down. Her parents are gone, leaving only her younger brother. Her biggest wish is to heal her brother's leg injury. Qin Yang reviewed these 3 pieces of information and formulated a plan in his mind. He strode towards the general manager's office. Along the way, all the employees he encountered greeted him respectfully and made way for him. Good morning, President Chen. Good morning. Qin Yang nodded in response. Upon entering the general manager's office, Zhua Hongmei was already reading the daily business report. Seeing Qin Yang come in, she immediately stood up to pour tea for him. President Chen, did you sleep well last night? Qin Yang sat on the sofa. Everyone was too enthusiastic, and I drank too much. But after a good sleep, I feel refreshed. Zhua Hongmei smiled as she placed the hot tea in front of him. You are impressive, young, skilled, and your recovery ability is amazing. I don't dare to drink too much, or I'll have a headache the next day. Qin Yang picked up the tea and took a sip. Sister Hongmei, when there's no one around, you can call me Yangzi. What is our relationship? No need to be so formal. Also, I plan to hold a meeting for managers and above to briefly discuss the hotel management. From now on, I'll leave various affairs to you, as I may not have much time to focus on you all. Zhua Hongmei nodded. Okay. I'll notify everyone to gather in the small conference room in half an hour. She immediately called for the secretary to convey the meeting notice. While waiting, Qin Yang exchanged some ideas with Zhua Hongmei and received her support. Soon, the secretary came in to inform them that the meeting was about to start, and everyone was waiting in the small conference room. Accompanied by Zhua Hongmei, Qin Yang confidently walked into the small conference room. Everyone stood up and warmly greeted him, especially Jean Ling, Jiang Qingying, and others, whose eyes were particularly eager. Zhong Qin, Luigi, and Shui Yufeng also wore bright smiles. Qin Yang took the seat at the head of the table with Zhua Hongmei beside him. He pressed his hands down to signal everyone to take their seats. Everyone, we are all familiar with each other, so please don't be too formal. I won't waste time, and we'll get straight to the point. The purpose of today's meeting is to discuss 3 main topics. The first topic is that while working diligently, I urge everyone to strive to learn and enhance their own abilities and knowledge. I have mentioned before that our hotel must grow stronger and move towards group development and scaling. I anticipate that within 1 to 2 years, we will increase by 23 5-star hotels, establishing benchmarks and templates, and creating a series of standardized and institutionalized operational processes. In the future, we aim to replicate dozens or even hundreds of such establishments. Today's Moon Bay is the first store of our hotel group, its origin and foundational place. Therefore, everyone must refine their work meticulously and strive for excellence, so that our successors will not be embarrassed in the future. The second topic is that I usually have a lot on my plate and am somewhat busy. I definitely want to have time to manage Moon Bay, or even the future hotel group. Starting today, I hope everyone can fully support General Manager Zhuo in her work. She is not only the general manager, but also the representative of the owner, fully authorized to handle all hotel affairs on my behalf. Of course, the heads of departments and above must submit a work report to me every month, and at least one face-to-face report each quarter. The third topic is due to outstanding performance and work needs. I announce that Administrative Director Zhong Qin is promoted to Deputy General Manager. Administrative Manager Jiang Qingying is promoted to Administrative Director while retaining her role as Administrative Manager. Sales Manager Jean Ling is promoted to Sales Director while retaining her role as Sales Manager. Security Manager Ma Dashan is promoted to Security Director. Security Supervisor Wang Fei is promoted to Security Manager. Security Personnel Zhua Xiaojiang is promoted to Security Supervisor. As soon as the 3 announcements were made, The entire venue was filled with astonishment. Following that, there was a burst of warm applause. Zhong Qin and others received countless blessings and envious glances. Qinyang personally stood up to congratulate Zhong Qin. Sister Qin, I will leave Moon Bay to you and Sister Hongmei from now on. You must not disappoint me. Zhong Qin was touched and almost in tears. Mr. Chun, don't worry. I will give it my all. I will assist General Zhua in safeguarding the hotel and work hard to grow it stronger according to your instructions. Qinyang nodded with a smile. The others who were promoted looked at Qinyang with gratitude, and he responded with nods to each of them. Everyone, those who haven't been promoted shouldn't be anxious. Next, as long as our hotels increase in number, all of you will have the hope of standing out in the future. Some may even take on high-level positions in the hotel group. In short, as long as you are willing to work hard and remain loyal to the hotel, your talents won't go unnoticed, and opportunities will surely come. The meeting has concluded. Qinyang politely declined Zhong Qin's invitation to treat, saying that next time, he would definitely treat Sister Qin to a big meal. He drove to the secret base of Team 3. Li Yao was on the run, and Li Changxing wanted to escape. This matter must be discussed with the Black Tiger to come up with a countermeasure. On the way, Han Feishue's call suddenly came in. Qinyang connected to Bluetooth and answered the phone. Feishue, what's the matter? How's your friend doing? On that day, Jiang Qingying encountered her ex-boyfriend, the scoundrel Qing Shimi, who had deceived Han Feishue's close friend, Tang Yu. In the end, Qinyang exposed him, leading to a public fallout. It's estimated that Tang Yu's mood wouldn't be too good. Han Feishue laughed and scolded. You still know how to say that? After you caused a scene that day, Tang Yu went back and cried for a long time. I had to comfort her for quite a while before her mood improved a bit. Recently, I heard that there are large cruise ships in the region going out to sea for fun. Tang Yu and I have booked tickets. Do you want to join us? Qinyang was delighted to hear this. What a coincidence. He was just planning to go to the region, and Han Feishue was going too. Is that cruise ship the Princess Sophia? Han Feishue was overjoyed. That's the one. You know about it. Qinyang replied with a smile. Perfect. I was planning to go as well to enjoy the sea breeze. Can you help me buy the plane and cruise tickets? Han Feishue readily agreed. Sure. I'll buy them right away. We'll set off together tomorrow morning. After hanging up, Qinyang felt secretly pleased. This time on the cruise, he was on a secret mission. If someone acted as a cover, pretending to be an ordinary tourist, it would be less conspicuous. Plus, having beautiful company along the way would definitely not be boring. On the other side, Han Feishue and Tang Yu were chatting idly in the office. To help Tang Yu relax, Han Feishue suggested going on a trip. Going out to sea seemed like a good idea. The two women quickly agreed. For some reason, Han Feishue subconsciously hoped that Qinyang could accompany her. So she called to test the waters. Unexpectedly, Qinyang agreed without a second thought. Han Feishue was overjoyed and immediately shared the news with Tang Yu. Tang Yu looked skeptical. You better confess, are you two involved in some romance? Han Feishue panicked a bit. What are you talking about? He's younger than me, at most. He's like a little brother. Tang Yu suppressed a smirk. Oh, a little brother. Isn't that easier to handle? That guy looks so charming. You can't tell me you don't have any ulterior motives. Han Feishue became even more flustered. I really don't. Tang Yu didn't believe her. It's not just you. Even I would find it hard to resist. However, I must remind you that last time this guy was surrounded by other beautiful women, all of them incredibly attractive. Han Feishue chuckled. You don't know Qinyang. For some reason, he is always surrounded by gorgeous ladies, each one more beautiful than the last. Once you're around him more, you'll get used to it. Tang Yu was a bit skeptical. Is this guy really that impressive? Does he even have a girlfriend? Han Feishue shook her head. As far as I know, he doesn't. So, for now, everyone has a chance. Tang Yu playfully poked her cute nose. Feishue, you're done for. You just said you had no bad intentions. Now it's exposed, isn't it? You're smitten. Han Feishue weakly retorted. I am not. The next moment, she became vigilant again. I warn you, don't try to steal my man. Tang Yu scoffed. What is there to steal from a kid like him? In the secret base of the third group, Qinyang sat down in Black Tiger's office, sipping tea. Brother Tiger, Li Yao hasn't been captured yet. What do you think? Black Tiger frowned. Li Yao is a dangerous individual. He poses a significant threat not only to national security, but also to the safety of many people. We must resolve this quickly. However, he is a senior spy, highly skilled, having reached the peak of advanced combatants. He also has ninja experts from a small island by his side, making him quite difficult to deal with. Qinyang glanced at Black Tiger and said with a smile, I've recently improved my skills a bit. I can handle Li Yao. You don't need to worry about that. Black Tiger was impressed. You're quite the anomaly. Back then, your skills were much worse than mine. In the blink of an eye, you've become so much better. You're truly the top expert of the third group. He couldn't help but give a thumbs up. I feel like being a senior consultant is an understatement for you. Qinyang smiled and waved his hand. Brother Tiger, don't flatter me too much. I don't care about the position when serving the country. Of course, I wouldn't mind a bit more bonus if possible. Hee hee. Black Tiger pointed at Qinyang. You, day by day, are all over the place. Forget it, let us not waste time. If we want to catch Li Yao, I think the only chance is through Li Changsheng. What do you think? Chapter 178. Significant casualties, amazing gains. Chunyang was silent for a moment, recalling the intelligence about Li Changsheng's escape plan. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration. Brother Tiger, that's a good suggestion. I think we should not only focus on Li Changsheng, but also keep an eye on Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu. Because Bai Yuzhu is the daughter of Li Changsheng and Zhang Li. Li Yao and Li Changsheng won't easily give up on the mother and daughter. Black Tiger nodded. Right, if they escape, they'll likely do it together. Qin Yang's gaze was firm. I suggest we monitor Li Changsheng, Zhang Li, and Bai Yuzhu closely. We need to maintain a loose exterior while tightening our internal surveillance, ensuring they don't sense anything. There should be results in the next day or two. Black Tiger agreed wholeheartedly. Prepare immediately and arrange the action. Qin Yang reminded again. Let all team members pay attention to safety. If there are any discoveries, do not act rashly. Notify me immediately. He who understood Qin Yang's concerns. Li Yao and two ninjas are both martial arts experts. If the action team is not careful, it could lead to heavy casualties. Caution is essential. He immediately gathered the action team members and assigned tasks. 3 small teams were formed to track and monitor Li Changsheng, Zhang Li, and Bai Yuzhu. The remaining large team, along with He Hu and Qin Yang, stayed at the base, ready to provide support and responsible for the final capture. In the secret base, the small operation command center had personnel reporting the latest news at all times. At 10:20, Li Changsheng called Zhang Li. At 10:35, Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu drove to find Li Changsheng. The second and third teams inquired whether to intercept. He Hu decisively denied it. No interception, let them meet. The reason for not capturing them immediately was to bait them. If they took the bait now, how could they catch the big fish? At 10:58, Zhang Li, Bai Yueying, and Li Changsheng met up and moved toward the dock. The 3 small teams simultaneously inquired whether to intercept because they were worried. If the 3 of them escaped to the dock, the situation would be complex, and they might slip away unnoticed. Whether by car or by boat, the routes are numerous and hard to defend. He Hu was also a bit worried and looked at Qin Yang. Qin Yang shook his head. Continue to follow. Do not intercept. He also stood up. Tiger brother, let us move closer. We can respond at any time. He Hu immediately arranged for vehicles. He and Qin Yang sat in the command vehicle, and the rest of the large team set off simultaneously. At 11:22, the 3 of them entered a warehouse area. Qin Yang, in the command vehicle, reminded the 3 small teams via radio to stay concealed and avoid exposure. At 11:27, the radio suddenly crackled with an urgent voice. Report, report. We have been exposed, and the other side opened fire first. Qin Yang and He Hu were startled. They quickly called to inquire about the situation. But there was no response from the other side. The 2 were anxious, unable to sit still, not knowing what the situation was like at the front line. At 11:29, the radio crackled again with an even more urgent voice. Report, team leader. The enemy's combat power is too strong. We are outmatched. Calling for support. Calling for support. He Hu quickly grabbed the radio. Hold on. We will be there soon. He ordered the driver to accelerate, rushing through 3 traffic lights. At 11:33, Qin Yang and He Hu led the large team to the scene. The first team immediately came over to report the situation. Our side has suffered heavy casualties, 3 dead, 5 injured. The enemy has 3 experts and over 30 armed thugs. He Hu immediately organized the response. Rescue the injured and send them to the nearest hospital. Evacuate the crowd. Clear and seal off the area within a kilometer around the warehouse. Qin Yang had already led the main force to launch a fierce counterattack against the enemy's spies. The 3 small teams were initially being suppressed, but in an instant, the situation on the battlefield reversed. Under the siege of the main force, Li Changsheng was injured and captured, while Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu were also caught in a sorry state. Only Li Yao, cunning and slippery, sensed danger and immediately abandoned his father and adopted sister, fleeing with 2 skilled ninjas. How could Qin Yang, having set up such a large trap, allow him to escape? Holding dual pistols, Qin Yang unleashed a swift and lightning-fast assault. With masterful shooting skills, he took down his targets one by one, all hitting their mark in the forehead. After pursuing for 300 meters, he neutralized 2 ninja experts. What the heck? Is this guy even human? Li Yao was terrified, running for his life without daring to look back. Black Tiger, following behind, was also stunned. His shooting skills were divine. Qin Yang was indeed becoming more formidable. After chasing for another 200 meters, bang! A gunshot rang out. Li Yao was shot in the left leg and fell to the ground. An hour later, in a secret base's interrogation room, Li Yao was chained to an interrogation chair. Black Tiger was the lead interrogator, with Qin Yang assisting, and Wang Xiaoyao was responsible for recording. Black Tiger spoke sternly. Li Yao, we already know your background. I advise you to confess. Those who do so will receive leniency, while those who resist will be dealt with harshly. Li Yao laughed mockingly. You won't get any information from me here. Save your breath. Qinyang couldn't hold back his anger. You, a citizen of this country, are running around as a lackey for the enemy. Are you that shameless? Li Yao was furious. What qualifications do you have to lecture me, you poor fool? I cooperate with them. They provide us resources and money. What's wrong with that? Qinyang was incensed, rushing forward to deliver 2 hard slaps. Slap, slap. Blood trickled from the corner of Li Yao's mouth. Useless. You can't extract any information, so you resort to anger? Li Yao declared defiantly. Even if I die, I won't let you succeed. Qinyang sneered. You think you're a loyal dog to the enemy? Beep. Today's intelligence triggered. Intelligence 4. Li Yao is the intelligence chief of the enemy in the Jiangnan province, overseeing all intelligence networks. Qinyang was overjoyed. You think I need you to talk? Just wait. Your suffering is only beginning. With a disdainful glance at Li Yao, Qinyang signaled Black Tiger to leave the interrogation room. Brother Tiger, I've already guessed his intelligence network. Next, I'll write down all this information for you to verify. Black Tiger was uncertain, but overjoyed. Really? Qinyang ignored him and began to write. With swift strokes, he filled 3 sheets of paper, fully exposing the intelligence network. According to the intelligence, Li Yao was the top leader, and Li Changsheng was also fully aware of his identity. Even using the Changxing group to funnel benefits to the enemy, having done much harm to his own country. The entire Longxing group will be confiscated by the state and put up for auction again. Next, Qinyang, feeling lighthearted, sat in his office sipping tea leisurely, feeling quite pleased. It wasn't just because of the charming secretary, Wang Xiaoya, but because he had intercepted a financial intelligence report. Within Li Yao's intelligence network, there was a key member responsible for financial accounts. This individual, bold and greedy, had exploited various loopholes to privately transfer $300 million into a secret account. Qinyang had obtained the withdrawal method. The most crucial part was that during the recent capture operation, both sides engaged in fierce gunfire, and unfortunately, that guy was shot and killed. Qinyang had intercepted this money without anyone knowing. Oh my, suddenly making a profit of $300 million, equivalent to 2 billion long coins. How could Qinyang not feel secretly delighted? Suddenly, he noticed Wang Xiaoya fidgeting and lingering around him, behaving oddly. Xiaoya, what do you want? Are you having any bad thoughts seeing how brilliant I am? Chapter 179. Strength increased. New skills added. Wang Xiaoya's figure was becoming more attractive. And she blushed instantly. I don't have any. I just want to join you on the cruise for the mission. It turned out that Qinyang was about to go on a business trip for a mission on a cruise ship. In this mission, Qinyang was the team leader, and the other 3 groups were fully cooperating. Wang Xiaoya had always longed for fieldwork and was eager for this opportunity. Qinyang looked her up and down, secretly admiring her, but outwardly he shook his head dismissively. No, your abilities are still far from enough. Wang Xiaoya was not convinced. Leader, why can't I do it? I'm not afraid of any assessment I apply for. Qinyang became serious. You're willing to accept assessments in combat skills, marksmanship, and foreign languages? Wang Xiaoya puffed out her chest. I'm willing. Qinyang nodded. All right, then I'll see how deep your skills really are. As a result, she passed all 3 assessments. And one could even say she was excellent. Wang Xiaoya beamed with pride. Leader, can I participate in the field mission now? Qinyang shook his head. No. Wang Xiaoya was so angry that she trembled. Why? I clearly passed the assessment. Qinyang replied calmly. I believe you have not yet met the standards. The reason is that your state is not well adjusted. Participating in a mission is like going to war. You must follow orders and obey commands. However, I feel that you lack a sense of obedience and respect. You are not compliant enough with your leader. Wang Xiaoya, being smart, could easily understand what he meant. You're younger than me and expect me to listen to you? Why should I? However, in order to get the opportunity for field work, she had to hold her nose and act obediently. Leader, I will pay attention in the future. Qinyang nodded slightly. In the future, when we're not in public, just call me Brother Yang. Wang Xiaoya thought to herself, calling you brother? Little brother would be more appropriate. Yes, Brother Yang. The words came out without hesitation, and the attitude was very respectful. He was quite obedient. All right, keep it up and continue to improve. There are opportunities for field work as well. Qinyang's training plan is showing initial results. He plans to go out tomorrow. This afternoon, Qinyang decided to visit Bai Yuyan. With so much happening in the Bai family, she has been holding everything together by herself. Qinyang definitely wants to offer some warmth. Currently, Bai Yuyan's greatest wish is for her brother's leg injury. The only method Qinyang could think of is a lottery. Only a lottery can create miracles. He called upon the system. Unreliable level lottery. Ding. Lottery completed. Congratulations. You have won 1 agile fruit. 10 points deducted, current remaining points, 70. A yellow fruit appeared out of nowhere. Qinyang caught it in one hand. It was the size of an egg, crystal clear, with a faint fragrance. Although he didn't draw any miraculous medicine for treating leg injuries, he was still quite happy to receive this fruit. He quickly consumed it, almost swallowing it whole. After carefully savoring it, he felt there wasn't much change. Qinyang wasn't in a hurry and decided to wait a while before checking his personal information. There should be some changes. He continued the lottery, still at the unreliable level. With fewer points, he had to be frugal. Fortunately, his luck was great, and the winning rate was quite high. Ding! Lottery completed. Congratulations. You have obtained the acupuncture skill, entry level, 5 elements returning needle. 10 points deducted. Current remaining points, 60. Acupuncture? Qinyang was overjoyed. This skill is great, just what he needs. Acupuncture is useful for treating leg injuries. However, it's only entry level, and he still has a long way to go, definitely not enough. He decided to upgrade it to master level. Ding! 60 points consumed. 5 elements returning needle upgraded to level 4, perfect realm. Master level. Current remaining points, 0. A wealth of profound knowledge flooded into Qinyang's mind, as if he were receiving an initiation. The flexibility of his arms, fingers, and wrists greatly increased. His ability to identify acupuncture points also improved significantly. A master of acupuncture is not just a title. The only downside is that the hard-earned points have reset to 0. Once again, he was broke. He checked his personal profile. Host name, Qinyang. Host age, 22 years old. Theoretical lifespan, 120 years. System level. Level 2, 3 pieces of information triggered yesterday. 1 piece of information triggered today. Life skills, soulful hands, level 4 perfect. Divine driving, level 3 proficient. Beast language, level 4 perfect. Multilingual, level 4 perfect. Marksman, level 4 perfect. Artistic talent, level 1 beginner. 5 elements resurrection needle, level 4 perfect. Special skills, personal space, level 3, 10 cubic meters. Golden eyes, level 1. Scanning range, 1 meter. Whispering, level 4. Communication range, 30 meters. Combat skills, combat technique, level 4 perfect. Empty-handed mastery, level 4 perfect. Invisible. Heart-destroying death grip, level 4 perfect. A palm to destroy the heart. Star plucking and moon snatching, level 1 beginner. Capturing dragons and binding tigers. Sky treading step, level 2 minor accomplishment. Flying on grass. Cultivation secret method, none. Combat power level. Junior warrior, agility fruit. Strength evaluation, with the star plucking technique and sky treading step. Comparable to an intermediate bright martial artist. An agility fruit significantly enhances Qinyang's physical fitness, especially in speed, making great progress. His physical fitness directly reaches the level of a junior warrior. The strength evaluation is also raised 1 level, reaching the strength of an intermediate bright martial artist. With such strength, Qinyang is confident to explore that mysterious place, believing that Uncle Zhua will no longer strongly oppose. However, everything still needs to wait until returning from the cruise ship. The core technology in the USB drive is of utmost importance and cannot afford any mistakes. On the way, Qinyang conveniently bought a high-quality silver needle set. Arriving at the Bai family's villa on the mountainside, he found that the aftermath of Bai Yuntian's passing had been taken care of, and the house was desolate. With his father gone, Zhang Li and Bai Yuzhu arrested. The once prosperous Bai family was left with only siblings Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong. Sister Yan, are you okay? Qinyang asked with concern. Bai Yuyan forced a smile. It's fine, everything is past. From now on, it's just me and Yulong relying on each other. Only Yulong's leg. As she spoke, tears slipped from the corners of her eyes. Bai Yulong quickly comforted his sister. Sister, it's okay, I've made it through all these years. But the company matters will still need your attention, Sai? Bai Yuyan was also worried. She had always been obsessed with medicine and never paid attention to company management. Now, suddenly taking over such a large company, she feared it would be beyond her capability. Yang, I will need your help with the company's matters in the future. Qinyang smiled and gently shook his head. Sister Yin, don't worry. I think it's better to leave the company's matters to Yulong. Bai Yuyan was surprised. But, Yulong's leg. Qinyang interrupted her. I have researched a unique acupuncture technique that might be able to heal Yulong's leg injury. Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong exclaimed in unison. Really? Half an hour later, under Qinyang's master-level acupuncture technique, Bai Yulong trembled and stood up. Bai Yuyan was stunned. In the next moment, he hugged Qinyang tightly, almost suffocating him. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine that kind of pain? That afternoon, Bai Yuyan, along with Bai Yulong, convened a board meeting for the Yuntian group, placing Bai Yulong in the chairman's seat. Afterwards, the siblings gave Qinyang a big surprise. Chapter 180, a great gift. Journey to Xiangjiang, a contract was placed in front of Qinyang. He opened the cover and asked, Sister Yin, what does this mean? The Yuntian hotel is being given to me for free? Bai Yuyan smiled and waved her hand. This isn't my idea. If you have any questions, ask Yulong. Qinyang looked at Bai Yulong. Yulong, this hotel isn't cheap, is it? Just giving it to me like that? Bai Yulong chuckled. Brother-in-law, I checked. And the Yuntian hotel is valued at around 1.2 billion. However, compared to the help you've given us, this amount is nothing. Qinyang put down the contract. Yulong, I'm helping you because of your sister. I can't accept this gift. Bai Yulong looked at Bai Yuyan for help. Bai Yuyan shrugged her shoulders. What do you think, brother? I told you he wouldn't want it, right? With no other choice, Bai Yulong had to push ahead. Brother-in-law, don't be so quick to refuse. There are 4 main reasons for this gift. First, it's to thank you for your help to my sister and me. Without you, we might not even be alive to talk about inheriting the family business. Second, the Yuntian Hotel has always been managed by Zhang Li, and all the executives are her people. I have a lot of trouble in the group right now and can't afford to be distracted. You could lay off all these people and replace them with your own, and everything would be settled. Third, you already own a 5-star hotel and run it very well. Managing 1 or 2 should be easy for you. Fourth, you are my brother-in-law, so giving this to you isn't like giving it to a stranger. Upon hearing this, Qinyang thought to himself, wow, giving away a 5-star hotel comes with so many reasons. If I don't accept, he might come up with even more. He decided to accept it after all, especially since he was planning to expand his hotel business and establish a chain brand. It was just that the speed of this was a bit faster than he had expected. With a swift motion, Qinyang signed his name on the contract. Then I will graciously accept it. Thank you, brother. He patted Bai Yulong on the shoulder. Both Bai Yuyan and Bai Yulong looked visibly relieved. That afternoon, Qinyang called a director-level meeting at the Moon Bay Hotel, announcing the plan to take over the Yuntian Hotel. Everyone was shocked. The Yuntian Hotel was the most famous 5-star hotel in Jiangcheng, on par with the Chongqing Hotel, and its influence subtly surpassed that of the Moon Bay Hotel. Qinyang had always talked about expanding and strengthening to create a national hotel chain brand. Everyone thought it sounded exciting, but they didn't take it seriously or expect it to happen so quickly. Unexpectedly, it has only been a short while, and another 5-star hotel is about to open. The larger the hotel scale, the more opportunities everyone has for promotion. Joy is evident on everyone's faces, filled with hope for the future and enthusiasm for work. After the meeting, Qinyang personally took Xue Hongmei to visit the Yuntian Hotel. After all, it would soon be their hotel, and they couldn't possibly not know where it is located and what it looks like, right? Xue Hongmei was very excited. The Yuntian Hotel is located in the bustling commercial center of the city, featuring a main building that is 36 stories high and 3 auxiliary buildings of over 10 stories each. It integrates dining, accommodation, leisure, entertainment, and vacation services with comprehensive facilities. After Qinyang's inspection, he was very satisfied. Sister Hongmei, what do you think? Xue Hongmei nodded slightly. Aside from the management aspect, which is a bit lacking compared to us, in terms of location, decoration, and supporting facilities, they are all superior to us. No wonder their market value and influence are much greater than that of our Moon Bay Hotel. Qinyang felt proud. This time, the Bai siblings had truly given him a great gift. Xue Hongmei increasingly found Qinyang hard to understand. At such a young age, he was able to purchase the Moon Bay Hotel worth 1 billion and quietly acquire the Yuntian Hotel valued at 1.2 billion. It was simply unbelievable. On the way back, Qinyang suddenly remembered something. Sister Hongmei, did you know that Chongqing Group is in trouble? Xue Hongmei nodded. I've heard about it, but I'm not clear on the specifics. Qinyang explained, I have inside information. The big boss of Chongqing Group is suspected of illegal activities and has already been arrested. The group has been sealed off, and soon, their assets will be auctioned off. I have my eye on the Chongqing Hotel among them. Keep an eye on it. Once the auction starts, go help me bid for it, and we will have our 3rd 5-star hotel. Xue Hongmei was shocked. Is this information reliable? And the Chongqing Hotel is on par with the Yuntian Hotel as a 5-star establishment. Even if it's an auction, the starting price is likely to be no less than 500 million, and the final price might even exceed several billion. Do you have that much money? Qinyang smiled. Don't worry, as long as it doesn't exceed 2 billion, I'm fine. Xue Hongmei stared at Qinyang in disbelief, unable to speak for a long time. Qinyang waved his hand in front of her. What? Are you scared? You need to quickly come up with a management plan for the 3 hotels. Should we establish a hotel management group immediately? Do the hotels need to be renamed? Who will manage each one? You need to think through these questions and write them in the plan. When I return from my business trip to Xiangjiang, show it to me. Xue Hongmei silently nodded. The impact of today was indeed a bit overwhelming, and she needed to digest it properly. The next day, Qinyang first checked the intelligence for today. Ding. Today's intelligence refreshed. Information 1. This afternoon, Sun Yun boarded the cruise ship and will hand over the USB drive tomorrow afternoon. Information 2. On the cruise ship, she will meet a well-known actress from a major entertainment hub. Information 3. At the Yuntian Grand Hotel, the financial director is a relative of Zhang Li, and there are issues with the accounts. The first piece of information pertains to the main task, and Qinyang examines it closely. Sun Yun is the person taking over from Yuna and Kevin to relay information, a senior spy from a certain country. In terms of timing, there should still be enough time. The second piece of information may be due to a request from Lu Cici. The entertainment company needs more influential stars to join. The entertainment scene in that region has always been quite active, If they can sign a few top actors and actresses, Lu Cece will surely be very pleased. The third piece of information involves the internal corruption at the Yuntian Grand Hotel. Qinyang certainly will not turn a blind eye. He immediately dialed Zhua Hongmei's number. Check into the financial director at Yuntian Grand Hotel, who is a relative of Zhang Li. If there are any irregularities in the accounts, find out exactly how much has been embezzled, and it must all be returned. Otherwise, let him sit in jail for a long time. Zhua Hongmei was secretly amazed. It had only been a day, and Qinyang had already uncovered the internal issues at Yuntian Grand Hotel. Such capability and connections. No wonder he is a big boss. At 9:20 in the morning, Qinyang drove to the international airport, leaving his vehicle in the parking lot. He walked into the waiting hall. Hello? A young woman's voice called from behind. Chapter 181. The cruise set sail, poolside views. Qinyang turned around and saw two stunning beauties approaching gracefully. The one waving was Tang Yu, the beautiful president of a prominent company. She seemed to be in good spirits. Hi, ladies. I invite you to join me for some fun at sea. Are you interested? Tang Yu chuckled lightly, while Han Feishue shook her head. No, it's not you inviting us. It's us inviting you. Young man, we are a bit bored. Can you entertain us? Qinyang was taken aback for a moment, but quickly smiled. It would be an honor. The two women laughed heartily. Seeing Qinyang still looking around, Tang Yu teased, what's wrong? With us two beauties, are you still not satisfied? Qinyang feigned a look of grievance. You two are both big-time executives, beautiful ladies. With you, I can only play the little brother role. To not feel so wronged, I surely have to find a little beauty to be my assistant. Han Feishue was surprised. Is there someone else? Qinyang rolled his eyes at her. My dear President Han, did you really think I had nothing to do and just went out to sea for fun? I have a rather important official matter that needs coordination, so this time I brought a little secretary with me. Han Feishue pouted, a bit annoyed. I thought this time was going to be so smooth because you had another purpose. The next moment, she became curious again. A little secretary? She must be very pretty, right? How is her figure? You handle the important tasks while the less significant ones fall to the secretary, right? Qinyang's expression turned serious, appearing quite dignified. Am I that kind of person? Enough talk, she's here. The two women's gazes immediately followed the direction of his finger. Wow, she really is a stunning beauty. With outstanding looks, flawless skin, and an incredible figure. Han Feishue looked at Qinyang with a skeptical expression. Such a gem. As a woman, it's hard not to feel tempted. How could a man resist? Wang Xiaoya was out of breath, her ample chest rising and falling. Boss, I'm not late, am I? I'm really excited to be on this field trip. Wang Xiaoya was thrilled. She hadn't slept well last night and had dozed off in the early morning. When she opened her eyes, she was almost late. After washing up and putting on makeup, it took her quite a while. Qinyang glanced at her. The young lady looks quite pretty today. No worries, you still have time. From now on, don't call me boss, just call me Yang. Wang Xiaoya thought to herself. Not even older than me, asking me to call him brother? Yes, Yang, she said smoothly, her tone sweet and charming. Qinyang enjoyed it. Looking over, he noticed the two beautiful women beside him, watching intently. He quickly introduced them. Xiaoya, let me introduce you to Han Feishue and Tang Yu. Both beautiful presidents from big companies and my good friends. This time, we're all going together to enjoy a cruise. Along the way, everyone should look out for each other a bit. Wang Xiaoya nodded obediently. Sister Feishue, Sister Yu. I'm Wang Xiaoya, just call me Xiaoya. Han Feishue and Tang Yu found the young lady's sweet talk quite delightful and didn't want to appear too stern. They pulled her along to the lounge area. Great. Let us have fun together these few days. Qinyang watched the three women's charming figures and couldn't help but shake his head. Fun. We have serious matters to attend to. Qinyang took a nap on the plane. When he woke up, the plane was preparing to land. They made a brief stop in a certain city. In the afternoon, they boarded the Princess Sophia, a massive cruise ship. It was Qinyang's first time on such a large vessel. From a distance, it didn't seem particularly special. Up close, it resembled an enormous skyscraper, truly spectacular. The four of them had booked for adjacent rooms. The cabins on the cruise ship were generally not very spacious, but they weren't particularly cramped either. Each room had its own bathroom, a large bed, and a sofa, all quite comfortable. This time, Qinyang was pretending to be a wealthy young master, bringing along his secretary and two close female friends for a vacation. Along the way, he was accompanied by three stunning beauties, attracting countless admiring glances. Qinyang felt quite pleased. Business travel surrounded by beautiful women. How many people dream of such a life? Not long after boarding, Wang Xiaoya entered Qinyang's room. He was sitting on the sofa, seemingly waiting for her. You know very well what our task is this time. The responsibility is significant. Now, you immediately arrange for someone to conduct a comprehensive investigation on Sun Yun, find out her room number, and monitor her continuously for 24 hours. If there is an opportunity, infiltrate her room and search for the USB drive. However, be very careful not to alert her and disrupt the intelligence transfer. Report any developments to me immediately. Wang Xiaoya had a serious expression. Yes, I'll take care of it right away. In fact, on the surface, Qinyang only brought Wang Xiaoyao with him. In reality, other members of the team had already disguised themselves in different combinations and boarded the cruise ship in batches. Qinyang was the commander, and Wang Xiaoyao was the liaison. The action plan was officially executed. Using professional methods, Sun Yun's room number was quickly discovered. Unfortunately, she was very cautious and stayed locked in her room, never coming out. The team had no opportunity to infiltrate and search the room. Qinyang was also very careful. If they startled her, it would cancel the intelligence transfer or cause her to hide the USB drive. Finding it would be extremely difficult. Qinyang was waiting. The best opportunity to act would be during the intelligence transfer. Otherwise, without seeing the USB drive, taking reckless action would lead to nothing. Sun Yun remained hidden. And Qinyang was not in a hurry, as the intelligence transfer was scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. During this time, as long as they kept a close watch on Sun Yun without losing control, it would be fine. Coincidentally, Han Feishue invited everyone to go swimming. There was a huge swimming pool on the cruise ship that looked very appealing. Qinyang played the role of a wealthy young master, naturally enjoying himself and playing around. At the edge of the pool, he changed into swim trunks. His muscular body instantly attracted the attention of numerous women. Tang Yu was the most exaggerated in her reaction. Wow, Qinyang, I didn't expect you to look so fit. Without your clothes, you look like a steel warrior. Her eyes widened. She really wanted to touch those 8-pack abs and feel what real male strength was like. Han Feishue's eyes also sparkled, captivated by the strong masculine aura Qinyang exuded. She felt a bit proud. The swimming suggestion was brilliant. Wang Xiaoyao was so shy that she dared not look at Qinyang. She wore a relatively conservative one-piece swimsuit and didn't dare to stand up once she jumped into the water. In contrast, Han Feishue and Tang Yu were more daring, wearing sexy bikinis that showcased their beautiful figures, outshining the other women around them and attracting many gazes. Qinyang felt a bit jealous, as if his private territory had been invaded. He couldn't help but show off his well-developed muscles to deter some of the interested onlookers. Tang Yu seemed to have completely forgotten the pain of her recent breakup, excitedly splashing in the water. Feishue, Qinyang, Xiaoya. Let's have a race to see who swims the fastest. How about that? Han Feishue was the first to respond. Sure, I'm a swimming enthusiast, so I'm not afraid. Qinyang and Wang Xiaoya didn't object either. How do we compete? Tang Yu glanced at the swimming pool, which was about 30 meters long. We would start from here, touch the railing on the opposite side, and then return. The total distance would be 60 meters, and whoever touches the railing first would be the winner. Han Feishue smiled and said, since it's a competition, there should be a prize, something to gain or lose. What's the bet? Chapter 182. The night is hazy, and romance arrives. Tang Yu turned her head to look at Qinyang. What do you think the bet should be? Qinyang glanced at the three bikini-clad beauties and shrugged. I have no opinion. In this situation, any opinion he offered could be seen as self-serving. The only way out was to take a step back to gain ground. Tang Yu gave him a mocking look. Coward. She then asked Han Feishue, what do you think would make the bet more interesting? Han Feishue thought for a moment. How about massages? The first place gets to enjoy the massage services of the other three. What do you think of this proposal? Tang Yu glanced at Qinyang's muscles and instinctively nodded. All right, I agree. Wang Xiaoya, blushing, also nodded in agreement, as if compelled. A friendly competition between the dragon and phoenix was about to begin. Qinyang, Han Feishue, Tang Yu, and Wang Xiaoya stood side by side at the water's edge. I'll count to 3, and then we all jump in together. The three women nodded in agreement. Qinyang took a deep breath and began counting. 1, 2, 3, go. Splash, splash, splash. The three women jumped into the pool almost simultaneously, while Qinyang deliberately took a moment longer to jump in last. Splash. He dove into the water. His swimming skills weren't the best, but he had good stamina. In less than a minute, he caught up with the third-place Han Feishue, and soon after, he surpassed the second-place Wang Xiaoya. To his surprise, Tang Yu, the beautiful CEO, showed remarkable swimming talent, surpassing the physically strong Wang Xiaoya to take the lead. Unfortunately, under Qinyang's impressive strength, she was eventually overtaken. Qinyang was the first to touch the railing on the opposite side, easily turned around, and started his return journey. He began to fantasize about how refreshing it would be to lie on a lounge chair and enjoy a massage from three bikini beauties. Suddenly, he noticed a female tourist nearby who seemed to be cramping, her body involuntarily sinking and her hands flailing in the water. Qinyang took a deep breath and dove underwater, swimming toward the drowning woman. Under the water, he saw a stunning woman with fair skin struggling, clearly in distress. He quickly swam up from behind and wrapped his arms around her, swimming swiftly back to the shore. At this moment, the woman's companions had noticed the situation and were waiting on the shore to assist Qinyang. After saving the beauty, he didn't go up, but instead handed her over to her companion, who also appeared to be a stunning beauty. However, Qinyang didn't take a closer look. He could sense that the woman had only swallowed a bit of water and was not suffocating or unconscious, so she should be fine. Turning around, the competition began anew. Unfortunately, so much time had been wasted. It was too late to catch up, and the one who was supposed to be in first place ended up in last. Han Feishue immediately shouted, Tang Yu is first, Qin Yang is last, you go massage her. Wang Xiaoya quickly nodded in support. Qin Yang was not satisfied. Why me? Didn't we agree that all three of us would give the first place a massage? Han Feishue shamelessly replied, Xiaoya and I are exhausted from swimming. We have no strength left to massage anyone. You, strong as an ox, are just right to help us fulfill this. Seeing Qin Yang dragging his feet, Tang Yu was unhappy. What is wrong with you guys? A bet is a bet. How can you go back on your word? Han Feishue lay back in the chair, looking indifferent to the situation. Wang Xiaoya also feigned being dead, remaining completely still. Qin Yang felt helpless, dealing with such uncooperative teammates. He could only accept his bad luck and fulfill the agreement alone. Tang Yu lay on the chair, noticing Qin Yang's muscular frame. Suddenly, she felt a bit guilty. How about we skip the massage? Han Feishue sprang back to life. No way. A bet is a bet. We absolutely won back out. Qin Yang was speechless. Thus, Tang Yu had no choice but to obediently lie down. Qin Yang, looking down from above, with his large hands, truly didn't he know where to start. It had been a long time since he had practiced his massage skills. Once again, he was revisiting and refreshing his knowledge. Tang Yu had never thought that a simple massage could be so enjoyable. Until Qin Yang finished, she still felt unsatisfied, secretly calculating when she could have another session. That evening, Qin Yang took the three beauties to a seaside terrace for a romantic dinner. By 8 o'clock, Qin Yang suddenly received a message. Sun Yun had gone out. He immediately set off alone, quietly following behind her. The sky was already dark, but the cruise ship was brightly lit, and the nightlife had just begun. Sun Yun arrived at a bar, ordered a drink, and enjoyed it alone. Qin Yang did not disturb her. He also ordered a drink and sat in a secluded corner, savoring the allure of the dark night. In the bar, there were several groups of people. Qin Yang glanced around and noticed many beautiful women, all quite pleasing to the eye. At that moment, a bald man wearing a large gold chain approached two beauties, one with a sweet appearance and the other elegant and poised. Ladies, how about a drink on me? The bald man boldly sat down across from the two beauties, scanning them with a lecherous gaze. To be fair, both were stunningly beautiful. Not only were they exceptionally good-looking, but each had her own unique charm. The sweet-looking Su Huilian frowned. Sorry, we're not comfortable. The bald man raised an eyebrow and turned to the elegant Zhao Xianji. What do you say, beautiful? Zhao Xianji, being slightly older, appeared much more mature. The gentleman said, We have plans with friends. I'm really sorry. The bald man clearly didn't believe it. Where did these friends come from? I didn't see anyone. Both women looked a bit flustered. They stood up wanting to leave, but were stopped by the bald man. The bar was dimly lit, making it hard to see faces clearly. One could only make out some outlines. Su Huilian quietly asked Zhao Xianji, Sister Xianji, should we reveal our identities? Zhao Xianji shook her head slightly. If our identities are exposed and a scandal arises, things will get even more complicated. Su Huilian was anxious, stamping her feet. They had come out to have fun together this time, without even bringing an assistant. What should they do in this situation? Excuse me, what's your situation? A young man's voice suddenly came from behind. It was Qin Yang approaching, facing the bald man directly. The bald man looked suspicious. Kid, who are you? How dare you interfere in my business? Qin Yang smiled faintly. Hello, I'm not interfering with you. It's you who is meddling in my affairs. I'm the friend they are waiting for. The bald man turned to look at the two beauties. Zhao Xianji reacted quickly. You're here. We've been waiting for you. She nudged Su Huilian with her elbow. Su Huilian understood immediately and nodded eagerly. Yeah, why are you so slow? We've been waiting for half an hour. The bald man sized up Qin Yang, noticing that he was tall and strong, with a robust build. Although he didn't seem threatening at first glance, someone who had lived on the edge could tell at a glance that this kid was not easy to deal with. Humph. The bald man turned and walked away. Zhao Xianji was very grateful. She gestured for Qin Yang to sit down and have a drink together. However, Qin Yang smiled and declined, keeping a considerable distance from the two women and choosing to drink alone. This situation was quite clever. From a distance, it looked like the three were together, which wouldn't raise the bald man's suspicions. In reality, Qin Yang maintained the necessary distance and did not interfere with the two women. Su Huilian chuckled softly and teased Zhao Xianji in a low voice. Sister Xianji, didn't he expect someone could actually turn down your invitation? Is this the first time the most beautiful woman in Xiangjiang has been rejected? Zhao Xianji playfully hit Su Huilian. Stop it. Who is the most beautiful woman in Xiangjiang? Am I that impressive? She secretly observed Qin Yang, becoming increasingly captivated. Su Huilian waved her hand in front of her eyes. What's wrong? Have you taken a liking to him? Zhao Xianji blushed and whispered. Don't you think he looks a bit familiar? Upon hearing this, Su Huilian began to scrutinize Qinyang closely. Suddenly, she covered her mouth in surprise. Ah, Zhao Xinji nodded. I can't believe it, what a coincidence. Qinyang saved her twice on the same day. The first time was in the pool. She didn't even have time to thank him before he left. This time, Qinyang had come to their rescue again, still selflessly inviting him for a drink. Only to be declined. Zhao Xinji was very puzzled. What kind of man is this? Generally, when men see such beautiful women, don't they all rush to get close? Why is he completely unresponsive? Is he truly selfless? Or is it a strategy of feigned disinterest? Zhao Xinji couldn't make up her mind, so she didn't say much more, just occasionally stole a glance. Su Huilian was also baffled. In this day and age, are there really men who don't seek pleasure from beautiful women? In the dimly lit bar, Qinyang was quite calm. He was currently on a mission and had no mood for flirting, even though both women were stunning. But such encounters were rare and not to be sought after. His attention was entirely focused on Sun Yun. Though he appeared to be drinking, he had Sun Yun's every move under control. Coincidentally, Sun Yun was also a beauty, and the bald man had taken notice of her. He held his drink, sitting very close to Sun Yun. A beautiful woman, drinking alone? Sun Yun frowned slightly, feeling a bit impatient. You're not my type, please move away. Her voice was cool and alluring, yet it successfully piqued the bald man's interest. Oh, a spicy one. I like women with character. He reached out, wanting to touch Sun Yun's chin. Smack! A large hand shot out from the side, grabbing his wrist. Ouch, that hurts. The bald man grimaced, slowly squatting down. Qinyang applied more pressure. Big guy, can't you be more discreet? The bald man recognized him and cursed inwardly. What's with you? Who is your girlfriend? Qinyang increased the pressure. The two in front are my friends. And this one is the one I'm interested in. Do you have a problem with that? Cold sweat broke out on the bald man's forehead as he hurriedly lowered his head. Big brother, let go, it really hurts. I have no objections. As long as you're happy. Qinyang released his grip. The bald man, nearly 200 pounds, stumbled back 3 or 4 steps, rubbing his swollen wrist. His face full of anger. You wait for me, kid. Once I'm back in my city, I'll deal with you. Qinyang's expression darkened as he stepped forward. The bald man, frightened, turned and ran away in a hurry, disappearing in an instant. Over the next few days on the cruise ship, Qinyang didn't see the bald man again. Sun Yun had been observing Qinyang. He was tall, strong, and handsome, such a rare sight. Handsome, thank you for helping me out. Let me buy you a drink. This time, Qinyang didn't refuse. Thank you. The two sat down for a drink, and an atmosphere of flirtation began to develop. Not far away, Zhao Xinji and Su Huilian watched in disbelief. They initially thought he was a selfless do-gooder, but it turned out he just wasn't interested in them. Look, as soon as Sun Yun invited him, he happily accepted. Su Huilian was indignant. What is so great about that woman? How is she more beautiful than us? In terms of looks and figure, what do we lack compared to her? Zhao Xinji remained silent, casting a glance at the two who were chatting happily, feeling a hint of disappointment. After half an hour of drinking, Sun Yun suddenly rubbed her forehead, clearly feeling tipsy and swaying. Qinyang quickly went over and supported her. You've had too much to drink, let me take you back. Sun Yun nodded and gave him her room number. Qinyang immediately helped her out of the bar. Su Huilian looked displeased. Is this how quickly they get together? Zhao Xinji shook her head in frustration. Forget it, it's not her business. On the surface, she seemed indifferent, but deep down, she felt it was such a pity. It was hard to come across someone she connected with, only to have another woman take him to bed. What kind of situation is this? Am I not as good as that woman? Qinyang supported Sun Yun, their bodies brushing against each other, creating a somewhat chaotic atmosphere. His hands began to wander, exploring her body with a mix of intent and casualness. Sun Yun secretly rejoiced. With just a little effort, she had a handsome man at her disposal. Tonight, she planned to indulge and enjoy what it felt like to be with a handsome guy. However, after some exploration, Qinyang felt disappointed. Her figure was indeed impressive, but he didn't find what he was looking for. Did she not bring it with her? Sigh. This plan of seduction still had to continue. Perhaps she had hidden it in her room. After some hesitation, they returned to Sun Yun's room. Qinyang helped her onto the bed and carefully took off her shoes. He then went to pour her a glass of water. From the moment he entered the room, he activated his special vision, scanning the area back and forth, trying to locate the hidden USB drive. As long as he found it, the mission would be mostly accomplished. The core technology inside was too important and must not fall into foreign hands, as it would cause significant losses to the military technology of the Dragon Country. Sun Yun was pretending to be drunk. All the way, she had been secretly watching Qinyang, especially after entering the room. She squinted her eyes and carefully observed him. Finding that he showed no signs of ulterior motives, her heart finally relaxed, and she began to flirt with him, pretending to feel hot. She turned over and took off her top, revealing her fair arms and alluring collarbone. The deep valley at her chest was adorned with a colorful butterfly in mid-flight. making one unable to resist the desire to explore deeper secrets. When Xinyang brought over the water and saw this scene, he felt a bit parched. He decided to drink the remaining water in his glass in one go and poured himself another. He gently placed it on the bedside. This time, he dared not look too much. He had already searched the room and found no USB drive. Staying any longer seemed pointless. You should get some rest. I'll be leaving now. We can hang out together tomorrow if you're free. Sun Yun, still pretending to be drunk, gave him the opportunity to leave. Xinyang closed the door behind him and escaped from the situation. The door had just closed when Sun Yun suddenly sat up. She looked at the closed door and slammed her bed with her fist. Coward. Even when I'm unconscious, you still don't dare to come in. Do I have to force you? When Xinyang returned to his guest room, Wang Xiaoyao was already waiting there. I've searched both Sun Yun and the room, but found nothing. I suspect the USB drive is hidden in a more secretive place. This woman is really clever. Xinyang gloomily picked up a glass of water and drank it all in one go. Wang Xiaoyao tried to stop him, but it was too late. That was the cup she had just used. Still feeling thirsty, Xinyang went to pour another glass. Sitting down, he slowly drank. Wang Xiaoyao helplessly said, "So what is our next step?" Xinyang replied firmly, "No rush, it's not time yet. You keep an eye on Sun Yun. Tomorrow is the key moment. And she will definitely make a move. No matter what happens, tell me immediately." The night was deep. Wang Xiaoyao returned to her room to rest. Xinyang washed up and lay on the bed, preparing to sleep. Ding! Today's information triggered. Chapter 184. A simple task, to kill one and save 2 lives. Ding! Today's information triggered. Information 4. A wealthy individual from a certain region encounters an assassin. It was only at this moment that Xinyang remembered there was still a piece of information that hadn't been triggered today. Strangely, he could trigger today's information while lying in bed. What is going on? What does this information have to do with me? With curiosity, Xinyang checked the detailed information. Room 1108 housed a middle-aged couple. The man was a wealthy individual named Yang Shouqing, and the woman was his wife, Jiang Shiyu. In room 1120, an assassin would infiltrate and kill this couple. Xinyang glanced at the time. It was just 11:19. He looked up at the ceiling. Room 1108 was directly above him. Oh no, it's a matter of going up and down the floors. Xinyang didn't have time to think further. He quickly got dressed and rushed out of the room. Getting dressed and taking the detour upstairs would take about 2 minutes. Would he make it in time to save 2 lives? In room 1108, Yang Shouqing and his wife Jiang Shiyu had just finished exercising and were in high spirits. The couple had been married for over a decade, deeply in love, with a pair of children. Their marriage and family life were very fulfilling. Yang Shouqing was successful in his career, and Jiang Shiyu managed the household well. Together, they formed an enviable happy family in high society. Suddenly, the door lock was forced open from the outside. A masked figure in black entered, startling the couple. Yang Shouqing sat up abruptly and looked at the intruder. "Who are you? Why did you break into my room?" Jiang Shiyu covered her chest and began to put on her pajamas. The masked figure saw the expanse of her fair skin, and a lewd look appeared in his eyes. He swallowed hard. "Who am I? I'm here to take your lives. However, if your wife looks so delicate and fair, if she is willing to serve me once and give me some money, perhaps I can change my mind." Yang Shouqing quickly protected his wife behind him. "Money is fine, name your price. But my wife, absolutely not." The masked man was furious. He glared. "Are you tired of living? Your life is in my hands, and you still want to negotiate?" Yang Shouqing trembled all over, not daring to provoke him again. Behind him, Jiang Shuyun was shivering, wishing she could hide under the covers. Unfortunately, she didn't dare to move, fearing it would attract more attention from the masked man. At this moment, Yang Shouqing suddenly forced himself to calm down. "May I ask who sent you to kill us? I will pay you double what they offered. As long as you let us go." The masked man didn't think twice and slapped him hard. Bang! Yang Shouqing fell to the ground. Then, without even looking at him, he walked over to the bed, his eyes fixed on the mature and charming Jiang Shuyun. "No, don't come over." Jiang Shuyun was terrified, her soul leaving her body. "Husband, save me." At this moment, Yang Shouqing regretted it deeply. He shouldn't have dismissed the bodyguards and sought a world for just the 2 of them. In the city, with just a call, he could summon hundreds or thousands of subordinates. Now he was helpless. However, he couldn't just stand by and watch his wife be harmed. "You villain. I'll fight you." Yang Shouqing disregarded the danger and rushed forward to protect his wife. The masked man was a professional killer, used to violence. He wouldn't mind using a corpse as a workout. Without a second thought, he drew out his dagger. As soon as Yang Shouqing rushed in, he would stab him, avoiding any disruption to his enjoyment. Yang Shouqing didn't notice the dagger in the masked man's hand, or perhaps he did, but had no other choice, and still charged forward. Jiang Shuyun closed her eyes, having already decided that if her husband went down, she would crash into the wall and follow him into the afterlife. She would never allow the villain to tarnish her innocence. Coming from a prestigious family, her pride would not allow her to suffer such humiliation and continue living. Just as the couple was about to meet their end, the door was suddenly smashed open. Qinyang burst in, without waiting for the masked man to speak. He used his skills to rush forward, delivering a palm strike to the back of the masked man's heart. Bang! The masked man staggered but wasn't thrown back. He slowly turned his head to look at Qinyang. You. Before he could finish his sentence, he spat out a mouthful of blood and collapsed to the ground, motionless. Yang Shouqing was nearly stunned. What happened? Such a powerful killer died from a single palm strike? Is this real? He bravely approached to check for breath. His hand trembled. Is he really dead? Qinyang smiled faintly. That palm strike was delivered in perfect condition. A master-level move. With that strike, as long as one is not exceptionally skilled, their internal organs would be shattered. This assassin, with average skills, naturally cannot withstand a single strike. As an assassin, if he doesn't kill with one blow, he might be countered. You can check if he has a gun. Yang Shouqing gathered his courage and felt around the assassin's body. Sure enough, he found a handgun and 3 magazines, all fully loaded. Yang Shouqing felt a wave of fear. If it weren't for Chun Yang's intervention, tonight, without a doubt, the couple would have met a grim fate. Yang Shouqing immediately supported Jiang Shiyu and approached Qinyang, bowing deeply. Thank you, benefactor, for saving our lives. Qinyang waved his hand dismissively. His gaze inadvertently caught a glimpse of something white. Indeed, she was a beauty that outshone the frost and snow. No wonder the masked man had ill intentions. Even before killing, he wanted to take advantage. A friend's wife should not be taken lightly. Qinyang's gaze flickered briefly. It was a small effort. There's no need to worry. Find a large bag, and I'll take care of the assassin, Qinyang said. Yang Shouqing hesitated. Don't we need to call the police? Qinyang replied nonchalantly. Calling the police is fine. But this person is an assassin, and even if you report it, there won't be any leads. The police will dig deeper, which can be quite bothersome. If you don't mind the hassle, go ahead and report it. I don't mind either way. Yang Shouqing was quite surprised. This person had impressive skills, killed someone. And wasn't he afraid of police inquiries? His status must be extraordinary. So he followed Qinyang's lead. I'm also quite afraid of trouble. So let us not call the police. The couple immediately began searching for a bag. After searching for a long time without success, Qinyang directly instructed them to pull down the bedsheet and lay it on the floor. With a flick of his foot, the assassin's body, weighing a couple of 100 pounds, landed in the center of the sheet. He folded the corners and tied it into a bundle. With one hand, he lifted it effortlessly and tossed it out the window. It flew horizontally for 10 meters and fell into the sea. Boom. The large ship was too high and moving, and the splash made no sound that attracted attention. Yang Shouqing and Jiang Shiyu were left dumbfounded. The strength and technique were incredibly smooth. It was clear that he had done such things, killing, burning, and disposing of bodies, many times before. Qinyang clapped his hands, revealing a sun-like smile. All right, the matter is resolved. I need to go back to sleep. You just need to clean up the floor, and everything will be fine. He turned to leave, but was stopped by Yang Shouqing. Benefactor, please wait. Can you leave a contact number? Yang Shouqing felt a bit anxious. You are our savior. If we meet again in the future, I should know your name. Qinyang thought for a moment. This person was a wealthy individual from a prosperous area, and his influence was undoubtedly significant. If he wanted to grow his business, he couldn't avoid such entrepreneurs. Getting to know him would be beneficial. All right, my name is Qinyang, and this is my phone number. If you come to Jiangsheng in the future, feel free to contact me, and I'll treat you to a drink. Yang Shouqing immediately bowed and expressed his gratitude. He promptly saved the phone number into his phone and dialed Qinyang's number. Mr. Chun, this is my number. Whenever you need anything in this city, feel free to call me. To be honest, I have some business here, and I can help you with small matters. Qinyang smiled, tucked the assassin's gun and bullets into his pocket, waved his hand, and walked towards the door. Yang Shouqing chased after him. Mr. Chun, please wait a moment. He took out a bank card from his pocket and handed it over with both hands. I cannot express my gratitude enough for your help. This card has 50 million in it. Please accept it. Qinyang waved his hand to interrupt him. Brother Yang, you are too polite. I said it was just a small effort. You don't need to worry about it. I won't accept the money. Let's meet again when we have the chance. After saying this, he turned and left, leaving Yang Shouqing holding the bank card. After a while, Yang Shouqing returned to the room. Jiang Shiyu rushed over, concerned. Benefactor, has he left? Did he not accept the card? Yang Shouqing was very emotional. Mr. Chun is truly extraordinary. His skills are profound and unfathomable. He is generous and unrestrained in dealing with others. He saved our lives without asking for anything in return. I offered him 50 million, and he didn't hesitate for a moment to refuse. I've never met someone like him before. Jiang Shiyu's eyes sparkled with admiration. Indeed, he is impressive. Just a moment ago, I really decided that if you died, I would follow soon after. The only pity is our children. They are still not grown up. As she spoke, tears streamed down her face. Yang Shouqing was deeply touched. His wife's unwavering loyalty moved him and filled him with fear. Shiyu, you must remind me. The next time we see our benefactor, we must thank him properly. He saved our family. Jiang Shiyu nodded repeatedly. Qinyang returned to his room and lay back down on the bed. This time, it was very smooth and peaceful. He slept soundly until dawn and checked the daily intelligence for the new day. Ding! Today's intelligence refreshed. Intelligence 1. Zhao Xinji and Su Huilian are both superstars in this city. Intelligence 2. The wealthy couple Yang Shouqing and his wife are very grateful to you. Intelligence 3. Sun Yun, after failing to seduce you, spent the entire night thinking about you. The first piece of intelligence surprised Qinyang. Before coming to this city, Lu Cixi had entrusted him with the task of signing several significant stars here. Su Huilian is a top diva, excelling in both Mandarin and Cantonese songs. Her albums are bestsellers both domestically and internationally, with undeniable influence in the region. Zhao Xinji is a leading actress, and the movies she stars in are guaranteed box office hits, appealing to fans of all ages. Her roles in dramas are deeply ingrained in the hearts of the audience. How many men see her as their dream lover? Countless women admire her to the point of worship. She is one of the most box office draw stars in the entire region. If Qinyang could persuade these two big names to join the entertainment company, it would definitely elevate the company's business to new heights. Unfortunately, the last time Qinyang helped them, he missed the opportunity. He wonders if there will be such chances in the future. The second piece of information was not unexpected for Qinyang. The reason he refused the 50 million gratitude fee from Yang Shouqing was not that he didn't love money, but rather he believed that maintaining a relationship with Yang Shouqing was more valuable than 50 million. The third piece of information made Qinyang uncomfortable. He didn't expect that Sun Yun had actually taken a liking to his friend. How could he feel at ease to pursue her later? Life on the cruise was indeed indulgent. Just after finishing breakfast, Han Feishue and Tang Yu dragged Qinyang to the dance hall. Qinyang kept refusing, saying, "I can't dance." Han Feishue laughed. "It's okay, you don't need to know how to dance, we can guide you. You're so smart, you'll get it right away." Tang Yu teased, "A big man like you. Are you afraid we'll take advantage of you?" Qinyang felt a bit embarrassed. "How could that be? Being with you is definitely me taking advantage." Tang Yu pretended to be serious. "Oh, so you're finally speaking the truth? You want to take advantage of our two older sisters? You're up to no good." The three of them joked and swayed freely in the dance floor. Wang Xiaoya, however, felt very restrained. She sat by the side, occasionally checking her phone for information, and then glancing at Qinyang and the others with a mix of envy and fear. On the dance floor, amidst the lively jumps and sways, the crowd was dense, and bodies occasionally bumped into each other. Han Feishue's face turned red, but she didn't shy away, even leaning closer to Qinyang and dancing happily. Tang Yu was relatively conservative. Each contact made her blush and her heart race, instinctively retreating. Suddenly, the music in the dance hall softened and slowed down. Everyone began to embrace and slow dance. Qinyang was at a loss when Han Feishue suddenly grabbed his hand. Their fingers intertwined as they danced together. In the sway, their eyes met, sparking a hint of panic and avoidance, yet their hands remained tightly clasped together. Tang Yu wisely exited the dance floor, sitting with Wang Xiaoya to chat and drink. Qinyang's movements were very stiff, while Han Feishue's body was soft. She deliberately moved closer, whispering in his ear, "Why are you staying so far away? Afraid I'll eat you?" Qinyang shook his head but didn't speak. Han Feishue giggled and moved even closer. Half an hour later, Han Feishue got tired and walked back to the booth with Qinyang. She noticed Tang Yu looking downcast and felt a bit guilty. "Just now, I was too busy teasing the handsome guy and forgot about my friend, who is still heartbroken." "Qinyang, you should accompany Tang Yu and dance for a while longer." Qinyang hesitated. "Dance again?" Han Feishue shot him a glance. "Tang Yu has learned dance, so you can learn from her. I guarantee you won't regret it." In the end, under Han Feishue's encouragement, Tang Yu and Qinyang reluctantly embraced and glided into the dance floor. Tang Yu's heart raced. Qinyang's looks and demeanor made it hard for her to stay calm. Qinyang also felt awkward, his palms sweaty. A delightful fragrance wafted from her, quite enticing. Suddenly, Qinyang felt a sharp pain on the top of his foot. Next to him, a long, fair leg in a crystal high heel had just made a rather deep contact with his foot. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." A beautiful and graceful woman repeatedly apologized. Qinyang looked up and was surprised. It was a familiar face. Zhao Xinji looked both apologetic and pleasantly surprised. On this giant cruise ship, with thousands of passengers, running into her for the third time in such a short span was indeed a sign of fate. "It's okay," Qinyang said as he returned to the booth with Tang Yu's support. "Yujia, I'm really fine." But Tang Yu insisted, "Don't be stubborn. That heel can't be light if it stepped on you. Let me check. Don't hurt your foot, or you won't be able to walk tomorrow." Her concern was genuine. Qinyang was speechless. How could a skilled person like him be taken down by a little woman? Hearing that Qinyang was hurt, Han Feishue became even more anxious than Tang Yu. She immediately crouched down to check the injury. The two women worked together to loosen Qinyang's shoelaces and take off his socks. Han Feishue didn't disdainfully toss the socks aside. Instead, she carefully folded them and set them aside. Both women were very worried. On the other hand, Wang Xiaoya didn't seem as tense. She couldn't believe that a skilled operative could be injured by a woman's heel. After taking off the socks, Han Feishue and Tang Yu examined his foot under the light. Fortunately, there was no injury. In fact, they couldn't find even a hint of redness or abrasion. The two women finally relaxed. Han Feishue then helped Qin Yang put his socks back on, which made him feel quite embarrassed. "Thank you, beautiful and kind-hearted sisters," Qin Yang said gratefully. Han Feishue rolled her eyes at him. "You scared me for half a day for nothing." Qin Yang felt awkward. But Tang Yu spoke up in his defense. "I was too nervous. It's not his fault." Suddenly, two stunning women walked over from the other side of the dance floor. It was Zhao Xinji and Su Hualian. Zhao Xinji first looked at Qin Yang's foot, full of concern. "I'm really sorry. Is your foot okay?" Qin Yang smiled and shook his head. "It's fine. You don't need to worry." Zhao Xinji raised her glass. "You saved me twice yesterday, and today I stepped on your foot. I raise a glass to you, both as a thank you and an apology." Qin Yang also lifted his glass. "It's just a small matter. No need to take it to heart." The two clinked their glasses and took a sip. Han Feishue suddenly pointed at the two women, her face full of shock. "You are the actress Zhao Xinji. And you are the diva Su Hualian?" Qin Yang also examined them closely. The previous encounters had been rather rushed. If it weren't for the intelligence reminder, he wouldn't have guessed that both of them were superstars from a certain region. He had regretted missing the opportunity earlier, but now they were proactively approaching him. Hee. Tang Yu was equally surprised. "This is amazing. I can't believe I met the idol actress Zhao and the diva Su. Can I invite you to sit down and have a drink with us?" Zhao Xinji and Su Hualian exchanged glances and both agreed. With the addition of two popular stars, the atmosphere became even more lively. The women laughed and drank heartily, enjoying each other's company. Under the intentional and unintentional probing from Zhao Xinji and Su Hualian, they figured out that among the three beautiful women present, none were Qin Yang's girlfriend. Han Feishue was a good friend of Qin Yang. Tang Yu was Han Feishue's close friend, and Wang Xiaoya was Qin Yang's secretary. The mood of the two women inexplicably lifted, and their enthusiasm for drinking increased. The more they drank, the more excited they became. Finally, Zhao Xinji mustered her courage and invited Qin Yang to dance a song together. Qin Yang had also had quite a bit to drink and was in high spirits. He readily accepted. On the dance floor, Zhao Xinji's dancing skills were very proficient. She led Qin Yang, guiding him on the movements and rhythm. Qin Yang wrapped his arms around her slim waist and, somewhat muddled, surprisingly danced very smoothly, their coordination impeccable. When they returned to their table, Su Hualian kept winking. "That was amazing. You two danced perfectly together." Zhao Xinji couldn't take it anymore and suggested that Qin Yang invite the diva Su to dance a song as well. Su Hualian pretended to decline, but deep down, she felt a glimmer of anticipation. She was well aware that with so many women surrounding Qin Yang, he must be a quality catch. It's rare that he's still single. With our qualities, it's not impossible. Su Hualian was even more enthusiastic than Zhao Xinji, almost sticking closely to Qin Yang as they danced, shining on the dance floor. Her dancing skills were just as good as Zhao Xinji's. Occasionally, she made little gestures that made Qin Yang's heart race. Out of breath from dancing, they returned to the table to continue drinking. Suddenly, Wang Xiaoya whispered a few words in Qin Yang's ear. Qin Yang was slightly taken aback, then raised his glass to bid farewell to the women. "Sorry, I have something to take care of. You all continue to have fun. Next time, I'll treat you to drinks." The women all raised their glasses, indicating it was no problem. After finishing their drinks, Qin Yang hurriedly left the dance hall. Wang Xiaoya informed him that Sun Yun had gone out again, heading to the gaming area, which was the casino. Qin Yang rushed to the casino immediately. The time for the intelligence transfer was getting closer, and he needed to keep a close watch on Sun Yun to prevent the USB drive from being secretly transferred. The cruise ship has already entered international waters, where gambling is unregulated. The casino is quite spacious, featuring a large hall filled with various gaming tables, as well as private VIP rooms with better privacy. Sun Yun is mingling in the hall. Upon seeing Qin Yang enter, her eyes light up. After pretending to be drunk last night and missing the chance to win over this handsome guy, she is determined to seize the opportunity today. "Hey, handsome. Want to play a bit?" Sun Yun asks. Qin Yang shakes his head. "You go ahead. I'm not very good at this, just looking around for now." Sun Yun is indeed an experienced gambler with great luck. In less than an hour, she wins 5 million. Qin Yang watches for a while and decides to try his hand. However, his luck is poor, and he loses quite a bit of money. Nevertheless, his current persona is that of a wealthy heir, so losing a little money doesn't faze him at all. Instead, he gradually increases his bets, seemingly getting addicted to the thrill. Qin Yang's performance is quite successful, and several keen observers in the vicinity have taken notice of this big spender. Everyone playing in the hall is just not thrilling enough. How about we move to the VIP room and play for bigger stakes? Once this suggestion is made, everyone agrees without hesitation. Bro, are you coming? Someone asks Chen Yang. Sure. Chen Yang slams the table. Why not? I refuse to believe my luck will always be this bad. With that, he stands up, eager to follow everyone to the VIP room. Sun Yun quickly grabs Chen Yang's arm and whispers in his ear, if you don't know how to play, you shouldn't go. Be careful not to lose everything. Chen Yang shakes her off. I have plenty of money. I'm not afraid of losing. Suddenly, he leans closer to Sun Yun, takes a deep breath, and exclaims, it smells great. I believe that with this aroma, I'll surely dominate the game. With that, Chen Yang strides confidently toward the VIP room, with Sun Yun trailing behind, furious and stomping her feet. You big fool. Just wait and see how you'll cry when you come out. Chapter 187. A huge gamble. Who will prevail? Upon entering the VIP room, there are a total of 5 people. Everyone unanimously proposes to play cards, specifically, a variant of poker. Chen Yang isn't very familiar with it, but he doesn't object. Sun Yun is excited. Clearly this is her forte. In the first few rounds, Chen Yang folds and carefully observes the other players' performances. Starting from the 4th round, he begins to call a few small bets. However, he still ends up folding later on. By the 8th round, he has already lost 500,000. By the 11th round, his total losses reach 1 million. The other players look at Chen Yang with a mocking gaze. Despite being the target of their amusement, Chen Yang doesn't seem to care and continues to call bets, occasionally raising them, leading him to lose even faster. Sun Yun glances at him, wanting to give him a warning, but decides against it. Speaking too much at the poker table can offend others. Fortunately, Sun Yun's skills and luck remain strong, and she wins quite a bit. Of course, the one with the best luck is a man wearing gold-rimmed glasses who appears to be in his 30s. For eyes gleamed with shrewdness. He won more than Sun Yun. In the next few rounds, Chen Yang occasionally raised the stakes and, surprisingly, had good luck, hitting a few big hands. Unconsciously, with the help of the gold-rimmed glasses and Sun Yun's fortune, he managed to turn the tide, transforming from a loser into a winner. Sun Yun was a bit surprised, while the other players were skeptical. They thought this guy was just lucky, and they were determined to win back his chips. Chen Yang, however, sneered inwardly. With his special ability, how could he lose at cards? The initial losses were merely a strategy to feign weakness and confuse his opponents. Now that the preliminaries were over, it was time to show his true strength. In the following rounds, Chen Yang's chances of raising the stakes increased. Some players, still skeptical, were directly defeated. Of course, Chen Yang wouldn't win all the time. He occasionally made mistakes, allowing someone to gain an advantage, reinforcing their belief that he was just lucky. The back and forth continued, and Chen Yang's winnings had reached 8 million. Sun Yun made a small profit of 3 million, while the player with the gold-rimmed glasses won the most, totaling 25 million. The other 2 players lost a combined 31 million, but fortunately, they were wealthy and seasoned gamblers, so this amount was still manageable for them. As the game heated up, the stakes for calls and raises grew larger as everyone aimed to win back their previous losses. Unfortunately, the more one desires to win, the more one tends to lose. In less than half an hour, the player with the gold-rimmed glasses had won 78 million. Sun Yun had a modest gain of 12 million, and Chen Yang turned into a dark horse, winning an impressive 75 million. The other 2 players, however, were in dire straits, with their chips dwindling to less than half. They were desperate, but luckily, in this round, they both drew strong hands, one with a full house and the other with a flush, both substantial hands. Without hesitation, they pushed all their chips in. All in. After all, if they were going to lose, they might as well go all out. Winning would mean recovering everything, and then some. Seeing the excitement on their faces, Sun Yun felt uncertain. Her hand was also strong, 4 8s and a 10, which was a full house, actually better than those 2 players' hands. She hesitated, pondering whether, as a winner with a 12 million profit, it was necessary to go all in. Winning would certainly be joyous, but if she lost? Not only would she lose the 12 million, but her initial capital would also be at risk. After much deliberation, she decided to push all her chips in. All in. Fortune favors the bold, and she was also an experienced gambler with enough courage. Seeing that all 3 players were all in the center of the table, it was packed with chips. The man with gold-rimmed glasses had a twitch at the corner of his eye. The muscles on his face couldn't help but twitch. He was too excited. Only he knew that he had the best hand, a straight flush. In a high-stakes game, a straight flush is the highest hand. Today's luck was truly amazing. The man adjusted his glasses and feigned surprise, saying, "Everyone, are you all betting this big?" The crowd looked at him, torn between hoping he would continue and fearing he would. They felt conflicted inside. Sun Yun asked him, "Are you in?" The man with gold-rimmed glasses wore a troubled expression. "My hand isn't that great, but since you all are going all in, and I've won so much, how can I not join?" After saying that, he waved his hand and pushed all the high chips in front of him into the pot. All in. Seeing his pained expression, the two players in front were overjoyed. This time, they were sure they could turn the tables and make a fortune. In the end, only Chunyang remained. Chunyang was a novice. His skills had always been criticized by others. Yet, in front of him was a huge pile of chips. He was the classic case of a fool with too much money. Everyone hoped he would go all in too, providing even more chips for the eventual winner. Acting as a generous benefactor, whether he could win or not was not even a consideration for the others. Firstly, the two players in front had gone all in first, which meant they definitely had strong hands. Sun Yun was an experienced player, lucky and skilled. If she didn't have a strong hand, how could she go all in? As for the man with gold-rimmed glasses, he was a consistent winner. So far, he had won the most. In terms of experience, skill, and luck, he was the best among the 5 players. Despite his pained expression, no one believed he would go all in without a good hand. Then there was only Chunyang left, the naive one. Although he had won some money, most of it was by chance, riding on the new player's luck. No one thought he had even the slightest chance. Skill was something he had no connection with at all. I'm all in too. Chunyang boldly swept all his chips into the pot. Everyone's eyes lit up. A fool has fallen into the trap. This round was a high-stakes gamble. With the substantial chips provided by Chunyang, the total pot at the table amounted to 500 million. Whoever won this round would immediately possess $500 million. Excluding the house's cut, they would at least have 5 billion in local currency. Everyone's eyes widened as they nervously focused on this decisive moment, which was about to be revealed. The two players in front were restless. At this point, they finally realized something was off. They had thought that with their strong hands, they could go all in without worries. They didn't expect that the players behind them would be even more ruthless. Without a trump card, who would dare to go all in? This round was unstable. They were eager to reveal their whole cards. One revealed a flush and diamonds. One player has a full house, 3 10s and 2 9s, which are all considered strong hands. However, seeing such a hand, the remaining players all breathed a sigh of relief. The third player to reveal their cards is Sun Yun, who shows 4 8s and a 10, a 4 of a kind. The first two players instantly look ashen. It's over. They've completely lost. Sun Yun barely has time to relish her victory before anxiously glancing at the player with the gold-rimmed glasses. That player smiles slightly, not keeping her waiting. With a flick of the wrist, he reveals his hidden cards. Wow. A spade straight flush, the highest card being a king. This hand is incredibly close to a royal flush. According to the rules of the game, a flush beats a straight, a full house beats a flush, and 4 of a kind beats a full house. The highest hand is the straight flush, and within straight flushes, the ace is the highest, followed by the king. In cases of ties, spades are the highest suit. Therefore, the hand of the player with the gold-rimmed glasses is truly exceptional. With a straight flush led by a king and being spades, who else has a chance? The first two players, including Sun Yun, are all stunned. No one expected the player with the gold-rimmed glasses to have such good luck and hold such a strong hand. If he doesn't win, who will? The player with the gold-rimmed glasses is feeling smug, his eyes already fixed on the chips on the table, mentally counting how many chips he could convert into cash. Instinctively, he reaches for the chips. Wait. Chunyang suddenly speaks up, stopping him. Buddy, I haven't revealed my cards yet. Why are you in such a hurry? Chapter 188, The King of Gamblers? The player with the gold-rimmed glasses looks taken aback. I have a straight flush, and it's a spade king. Are you blind? Can't you see my hand? The others look at Chunyang with incredulous expressions. No one expected that at this moment, he would still want to show off. Could he possibly have a hand that's even better than a straight flush? Chunyang remains calm and reaches for his cards. My luck today is really good. Maybe a miracle will happen? The player with the gold-rimmed glasses finally comes to his senses and scornfully retorts, Are you out of your mind? Can't you see my straight flush? If you have a better hand, I'll eat my cards. Chunyang flips over his hidden cards. Oh wow, what is this? No way. I also have a straight flush. The player with the gold-rimmed glasses is stunned. His eyes widen in disbelief. It feels like his throat has been seized, and he can't utter a word. Sun Yun also stands up, staring intently at Chunyang's cards, aka QJ10. A heart straight flush. How is this possible? Everyone is dumbfounded. No way. What the heck? Are you kidding me? Various exclamations erupt. Sun Yun is breathing heavily, completely at a loss for words. Oh my goodness. This round is too big. Chunyang stands to gain at least tens of billions. Such a high-stakes gamble is rare even on a cruise ship. Getting rich overnight is really not a dream. Chunyang watched as he pushed all his chips in front of him. The man with gold-rimmed glasses felt as if his heart was being cut by a knife, bleeding profusely. He suddenly shouted, Wait. Chunyang remained calm and said indifferently, What's wrong? You don't want to settle up after losing? The man with gold-rimmed glasses adjusted his glasses, calming himself down. I'm not that kind of person. Since my brother here is someone of great value, do you have the guts to gamble with me one-on-one? Chunyang glanced at him, revealing an arrogant demeanor. I have more money than I can spend. Am I afraid to gamble with you? I'm just worried that you might not have the money, he stated firmly. First of all, I'm not interested in anything less than 100 million. The man with gold-rimmed glasses had veins popping on his forehead, but pretended to be under no pressure. How about 500 million? That's about the same as your chips on the table. Just give me 10 minutes, and I can get 500 million. Qinyang hesitated. At this moment, he already had 500 million in hand. Not gambling meant a guaranteed profit of tens of billions in local currency. But if he gambled again, there were only two outcomes. Either he would win another 500 million to reach $1 billion, or he would lose everything he had won so far and start over from zero. The key was that the man with gold-rimmed glasses clearly looked like a seasoned gambler. He had lost